Say my name.
Heisenberg.
You're goddamn right.
Jesus, man. I gave you one brand new book and now you want 1971? Oh my God. People. I give and I give and I give. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my new book, which is just available today. Well, actually Friday. Came in a bit early. Was actually not expecting to do this show until next week. Anyways, big news. And we're going to tear apart Matt Walsh today, too. Amongst other things. Thank you very much for watching The Irrational Male live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you very much. Thank you, people. Thank you. Anybody want a vitamin C?
If a man's not on steroids, I don't want him. If a man can't bench 405, I do not want him. If he is not double my weight or over 220 pounds, I do not want him.
Kyle, what's your bench?
315, not 405, but
It's like the lottery.
nice pops.
You are probably not going to win. Okay? You're probably not going to win. Don't make that your 401k. You're probably not going to win.
So a happy marriage, he says, is like winning the lottery. And the thing about the lottery is that almost everybody loses. This is a perfect summation of how this entire club views marriage and the message that they're sending to young men in particular. Sure,
I'm sorry, who? Who are we talking about?
it can be great, they concede, but only if you're
Today's topic, today's theme is Matt Walsh gets amnesia.
insanely lucky. Everybody else is screwed. This is a rather bleak view of marriage, and thankfully, it's also nonsense. First of all, the claim that marriage isn't scalable is obviously ridiculous.
Dude, this is how I'm going for Halloween. I've got to get a beard and some glasses and this like I already got the lumberjack vest for
Because
him.
marriage has served as the bedrock of human society since time immemorial. It has already happened at the scale of civilization for thousands of years. Now, the divorce lawyers come along and say that, you know, this thing that society's been doing forever, turns out it doesn't work.
Where's this guy? Oh, there we
All right,
go.
I will not partner with you.
Why?
The reality is this, and I broke it down to a guy. If you're not married, you're going to spend an hour on Grindr, Bumble, Tinder, one of these maps, whatever they're called, Yellow Jacket, I don't know what they're called, right? They're just tons of apps. You're going to spend an hour down these apps, right? That's 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month, right? That's 280 hours a year. Break that down by how many work weeks that is. Do 40 and 280, 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. That's 6 weeks of somebody spending time on Grindr, Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, whatever it is. That's 6 weeks that you could be working, adding value to the organization that you're out. And that's not include you.
It's funny is like this is like the Brandon Carter school of like time management, only from like the evangelical Christian side of the whole
Going
thing.
out and dating someone. That doesn't include I got to go to dinner. I got to try and spend time with her.
You would be spending a lot more time and money on your wife than you would on
I want to hook up with her. I got to do events. I got to
ask me how I know.
go to events I don't even want to go to. Like all that is just, it's all
So
because
there's no such thing as focused single people.
I think they're very unusual. And I think if they were already focused, you wouldn't be at my doorstep.
But does that mean they have to be married? No, I'm this sound drops are out.
The boring guy. If you're worried you're running out of time to find your person, but you're also throwing out connections full of green flags because he was too nice, he wasn't tall enough, or you didn't feel a spark, I love you enough to be real as fuck with you right now. The reason you keep ending up with emotionally unavailable guys is not because there are no good men left. It's because you overlook guys who are steady and secure. Your nervous system is used to intense chemistry that only leads to inconsistency, high anxiety, and ultimately you getting
great sex.
your heart broken. But what you don't realize is the boring guy isn't actually boring. He's healthy, consistent, secure, supportive,
and anti-seductive.
safe. So the next time you think a guy is boring, consider that your brain wants to interpret him as boring because he's just not the
Shout out to my boring kings.
chaos that you're used to. Now, if you're wondering, what's the balance here? Like, how attracted to him do I need to feel? Meet me in the caption.
No, how aroused by him do you need to feel?
Find high quality friends as an adult.
A hack for this is you need to get the most expensive gym membership that you can afford. At a premium gym, you're going to find people that are disciplined, highly motivated, and they take their health seriously. And they will take your friendship seriously too. You want people that are grounded and have an empowering mindset, and you'll find them there.
Yes. A gym membership will be your key to healthy
Culture teaching women to choose emotionally unavailable men. Maybe. What's the weirdest propaganda that you feel like moving?
Okay. Children, anytime someone says society teaches, culture teaches, what does that mean? That means we believe in social constructionism and we're fucking idiots.
Movies have tried to push on you in your lifetime. For me, I grew up with tons and tons of movies that kept saying that the worst thing a man could be is a grown-up. You'd see a love triangle of romances where the guy you're supposed to be rooting against, his only sin is that he's kind of normal. He's got a job and stuff. But then some other guy, a bad boy, would come along and it doesn't matter that he sleeps in his car. Or if both of the guys are financially stable, you're supposed to root for the one that is less emotionally stable, the one that's more childlike. Jason Pargin just...
Yes. Why are you supposed to root for them? Because that's the guy that women consistently reward by spreading their legs for him.
broke my brain with this insight. I think it's so right. Like, modern romance culture isn't just telling stories. It's shaping selection criteria across movies, media, even mainstream dating advice.
That selection criteria doesn't come from society. It comes from evolution. It comes from 200,000 years of human evolution.
Women are being subtly conditioned to seek out emotional unavailability and volatility as signs of desirability.
Either that, or they have always sought out those signs and those cues, and they have more choice these days because we have a global sexual marketplace. These are certain things that the red pill, there I go, weaponizing information again.
And the result is a generation of women confusing conflict with compatibility and drama with depth and brokenness with mystery. It's the he's hard to love, but I can fix him fantasy.
No, the fantasy is he's boring as fuck, and maybe if I stick it out long enough, he'll be exciting at some point.
Repackaged and repackaged in everything, from films to novels. In The Notebook, Ali chooses Noah, the poor, impulsive, deeply emotional man, over Lon, her secure and respectable fiancé. What's the conclusion? Stability is boring, and true love is obsessive, chaotic, and all-consuming.
Yes, you are correct. Perfect is boring. Now, here's someone who's actually perfect and not boring. Look at these. Okay, stop. Let's stop here really quickly. Okay. This is staged. Okay, get it out of your system. Now let's move on. It's staged, but the reactions are not staged. That's just it. Sorry, I got to take that stupid fucking song out of there because that is an automatic. You don't even need it. Actually, it's kind of better without the music. It's way better without the music anyways. See, all you have to be is hot. Ladies, like, What is keeping you from looking like this? Well, maybe okay, genetics. Yeah, clearly. See, why you got to be like that, ladies? Why? Tell me why.
I did the dishes.
Thank you.
And I dried them too and put them away.
Okay.
The laundry's all taken care of. And I separated everything, washed it and dried it and folded it and put it away. You don't have to worry about dinner. I've got it in the crock pot right now. And I'll do the dishes again. The toilets are crystal clean. I don't want to say washed. I scrubbed the toilets for the first time in my entire life. Wow. I dusted the blinds today.
This is how Christian men think.
You're working it.
Think that sex works. So here's we're gonna get into this. This is this chore play. Yes, I got it. Okay. Yes, thank you. Somebody picked up on that. He's a good wife. So to be a good, strong servant leader in your household, be a wife. Do all the things a wife, like division of labor. What division of labor? Sexual dimorphism. What sexual dimorphism? Indentured servitude. Okay, this is the best video I have come across in a very long time.
Babe, what would you do if I win the lottery?
I'll take half and leave you.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I want $40. Here's 20. Get the fuck out.
Oh, shoot.
I dare you to do that. I dare you to do that with your girl. Baby, what would you do if I won the lottery? And you come home with like a ticket and you're like, just like, don't show it. Just a baby, what would you do if I won? Take half of it, leave your ass.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh God, that's too fucking good. Is this good now?
Bye, Felicia.
There it is. All right. Okay. We were having a little bit of technical difficulty with the sound drop. Hey, look, what's this? Oh my Lord in heaven. It's the printer's copy. See, that's, you know how you know it's the printer's copy? It's got this that says not for resale. I have all of my books. I have all of my printer's copies for all of these. You can get this now. Go do it. Jump. Do not stop. Do not walk. Run to your nearest Amazon, to your nearest computer terminal. Run to your cell phone. Yes, it's out. It's available. I honestly didn't think I would be having this conversation until later. Wait. If you want it, here is the QR code that will take you right directly to my Amazon page, where you can actually, it's available only on Amazon, so please go get it. It is the new Reignite book. I finished it up. I told you guys last week. I finished it up. I did all of the. Finally finished all of the galleys. I got the cover by yours truly, Rollo Tomassi. Yes, I do all of my covers except for Player's Handbook that was done by another guy who was like I did the cover, but the actual art was it's actually a physical piece of art. It's a sculpture, and it's a photograph of that sculpture, and I thought it was pretty apropos for Player's Handbook. This one is Reignite. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see, like you see like the little bit of, it's got a little bit of, let's see, there you go. Perfect. There you go. So you can see, you don't have to focus up. Oh, you change that one up there. There you go. See, look. Oh wait, no, there it is. That side. Change over to the other one. There. Ah, perfect. Okay. So you can see it. It's got a little bit, it looks like reigniting. Down the bottom, a little bit of I had this idea. I don't know. It just sort of came to me. I'm like, what am I going to do with the cover of this? And it's like, what's the name of the book? It's like, it's Reignite. And so everybody's like complimenting me on the cover. Thank you very much, because I do the covers. I do all. If you like look through the book itself, and you go through, like, all of my books follow a very similar pattern. I try to be as prosaic, I guess, as I possibly can when I'm titling chapters and things like that. Things that are, sometimes there's like, I know that the cardinal sin of the internet, or certainly Twitter or social media, is to use metaphor, allegory, prose, rhetoric, hyperbole, any wordsmithing, anything that isn't exactly like bonehead literal, people will go, I don't think that means what you think it means. Or God forbid you actually like, you know, people get me on all the time. Is I always say that, like, and I probably would have titled this video this today, but I always say, like, you know, like whenever I see Matt Walsh talking about like marriage, or these people come out like Brad Wilcox, who I'm going to talk about a little bit today too. They come up with like some new data set saying, oh, women who are married with kids are happier and blah, blah, blah. You know, they go through all this stuff. And I'm like, well, if that were the case, then why is the marriage rate 6.1 per 1,000 right now? Why are we at the lowest marriage rate? And by the way, we are at 43 or 45, somewhere in between there, percent rate of divorce for first marriages. Okay, that's what it comes down to. And even if you rounded it off to 40, like I'll give it to you. Let's round it down a little bit, right? Even 40 is still a pretty abysmal rate, okay? 40%. You know, here's your parachute. It's only going to open 60% of the time. So you got an extra 10% there. Are you getting in the plane? But I was going to say is every time I see that, I use this, I say, marriage sells, but who's buying? And everybody thinks I'm talking about Megadeth, but I kind of am a little bit because of the album. But you know, I wanted to explain this because if you know the story behind the title of that album, it doesn't have it. It's not something that they pulled out of their ass. It's actually something that Dave Mustaine saw when they were going to record the album, and it was a news feature. It was something in Newsweek, or it was like in a Dear Abby, or who knows, whatever. But it was something. A piece sells, but who's buying? That's what the title of the article was. And he decided to write a song about that. But that actual article was actually a pretty famous article, because what it meant was like people want to talk about peace all the time, and it's like a great thing, and everybody wants to involve themselves, but nobody wants to buy into peace, right? And so that's why you could say it about pretty much anything. You know, it's like the red pill sells, but who's buying? You know, whatever. It's like yeah, but no, it sounds like a great deal, but nobody wants to buy that product. Is really what it comes down to, and that's why it's such genius on the part of Dave Mustaine, right? Okay, so there's your Megadeth history lesson right there. But if you know, seriously, go look it up. It's a very famous story. He loves telling it too. So anyways, whenever I bring that up, I use that as an allegory. Everybody automatically thinks I'm talking about like Megadeth. Like, hey man, I love that album. That was great. What, 1985? You know what? Or else if I say something, if I bring up some sort of rhetoric, you never use allegory, you never use metaphor, you never use anything that isn't exactly direct language, because somewhere between 2005 and 2025. Spurgs took over the internet, and everything has to be literal. And if you don't speak in like really bonehead binary A plus B equals C language for people, they don't get it. And I wanted to point that out, because I use a lot of that. I used to use that quite a bit in my earlier works, right? If you read anything from my blog from as far back as say like 2011, and you look at some of this, I took very great care, because this is back when I thought people would actually like, they were more intelligent than they actually are. Like they tell you in, and by the way, I'm not an English major. I don't have a degree in English. I'm just a guy who writes books. So is Aaron Clary. Aaron Clary, no English degree. He's an actuary. I'm, as you know, I'm a pretty artsy fartsy kind of guy. I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to play music. I do a lot of creative endeavors. I'm working actually on and yes, 1971 will come out at some point. Please wipe your ass with that for now. But I'm working on a work of fiction right now. So like, I see Ryan Stone doing, and he's already got 2 fiction books out. I'm like, shit, I'm already behind the game. So anyways. But I, if you know anything about me, and if you read my work from way back in the day, I try to make the titles of my posts and my essays and my books and stuff like that. I try to, they are always going to have a little bit of allegory in them. They're always going to have like double meanings and stuff like that for things. And it used to be much more appreciated than it is now, because I think people, like, if you use what was who said this? Like, if you, maybe it was like Confucius or like the Buddha or something like that. It says like you point to the moon and people criticize your finger. You know, yeah. Hey, look, there's the moon. Isn't it lovely? You know, your finger's fucked. It's like I could dead serious. I could have a cure for cancer, and I could tell you what it is on this show, and it'd be 100% guaranteed cure for cancer. You know what they say? Why does he wear that beanie all the time? Bro, I just cured cancer. Why do you look like you're 14? It's not the 80s. You know, the 80s are over, right? How do I win? I can't fucking win. There's no way to win the game. So that's why I say fuck it. Anyways, new book, it's out. Go get it now. You can either follow this link right here, the QR code, or you can do it the simple way and just click the very first link that's in the description right there. I just thought I'd double it up and see how things work out for us here. Do we have, we got a couple already. Here we go. Is there a Rational Male club I didn't know about? Yes, it's called Reignite. Is that the all man woman haters club? Just bought the book. No, it's not you mean the He-Man woman haters club from the Little Rascals back in the 1920s? He-Man woman haters club. Give me the high sign. This is the high sign. Secret handshakes, yes. And no, I'm not a 12th degree Mason. As above, so below. Boomers to youngsters, one plate food, no wife, no children. Why are you complaining? Marry the 304, have kids, get divorced, be a man. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Matt Walsh isn't a boomer. I'm more of a boomer. I think I'm definitely older than Matt Walsh is. So yeah, and I'm Gen X. He's more of a millennial. So, but even millennials still have that same mentality. They have that boomer mentality. You're correct, sir. Go to the head of the class. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. But I want to, just before I jump off, I mean, obviously the announcement of the day is the new book is out. I'm going to just give you a few little tidbits here. I'm going to do a dedicated show to this. I didn't want to devote the entire show today to just a sales pitch for my book, which why not, right? But that's not what the whole thing is. Oh, thank you. The whole thing is about today. I did want to sort of get into some of the stuff that I've been seeing. I mean, it's kind of like dovetails into what I was talking about last week, but I want to get into what Matt Walsh was talking about when it comes to marriage and divorce and everything. Of course, guess what? It's like what's old is new. It's like I've got his video right now. I'm going to riff on that a little bit too. But of course, what happens is, your favorite and mine, Pearl Davis, decides to mouth off about something, and what happens? Just like Pavlov's dogs ringing the dinner bell. Here comes Matt Walsh. It's 2024 all over again. 2023 all over again. It's funny. It's like I'm gonna point some things out here today, and you guys are gonna start seeing how cyclical all this bullshit is. And so either, and here's the preview: either Matt Walsh has amnesia, which I'm actually kind of leaning towards here, or else he needs to fire his new production staff because they're just unfamiliar with any of his prior work as far back as 2024 is concerned. So we're going to get into that today, and I'm going to run him up the flagpole. So we'll see how that goes here. And sorry, but I might even Jim Sexton might catch a stray or two. I love you, Jim. I love you, but like you might catch a stray here. Rollo got robbed. What a simp. What a simp. What a simp. What a simp. Rollo got robbed. What a simp. What a simp. What a simp. What a simp. He's a simp. Oh, yeah, he's a simp. Wait, hold on.
Like, man, Rollo Tomassi don't get no hoes, man.
There you go, man. That's all. That's what you wanted, right? Here's that attention you ordered. What a simp. What a simp. I need songs, man. I need to make up some songs for this shit because it's like, as I said, what's old is new. Here we go again. Yeah, we got robbed. We didn't get robbed. We got rolled.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't get robbed. It was our poor girls that got robbed, unfortunately. What on earth is Rollo talking? Like, people don't even remember. Like, It's like, what, a week and a half ago? Yes, we got rolled by career criminal Mia Ventura, no relation to Jesse, that I'm aware of. Yes, Rollo rolled. Yes, instead of Rick rolled, you got Rollo rolled. So anyways, so the book clocks in, and by the way, I didn't do this on, okay, maybe I did. I didn't do this intentionally, but the book clocks in at about 386 pages. 365, 368. What is it? 368 or 380? 380. Well, if you take the very last little illustrated page, this has a lot of filler in it. 386 pages. And yes, to answer your next question, is it going to be available on Audible? Yes, it's coming up. It's going to be available on Audible. I usually release my books digital, print, and then Audible comes like 2 weeks later or a month later, depending on how quick it goes. I don't see this taking too much longer. No, unfortunately, I'm not using Sam Bada on this one, who I love like a brother, but I had already reserved Aaron Clary's reader, Keith, and so because he did a pretty good job on Aaron's last two, and I kind of wanted to use him from back in the years ago now. But when I heard him read, I think it was A World Without Women, and then The Menu, that's a very underrated book, Aaron. The Menu is probably one of Aaron's strongest books. And then The Reader, I believe, was Keith on that. Very good book. But yes, let Nick Fuentes do the audio. Hold on.
For Reignite.
You get a Don DeMarco for the most foolish, the most foolish comment of the day. Yes, that is not going to happen. God, can you imagine? Nick, I know we've had our differences, Nick. How'd you like to read the rest? Yes. He'd be looking through the contents and you go, Reignite, Jews. Introduction, Jews. Benefit, Jews. The burden of Jews. Your mission, her Jew. Be a Jew.
Yeah, just some slight creative differences.
Yes. I'm improvising. I'm ad-libbing as I go. That's a mark of a good reader. Bye, Glenn. Bye, Glenn Lawrence. Oh, is that Glenn? Did you just boot him out? Thank you.
So
many people out. Yeah, because they can't hate. They love it when you win. They love it when you win. They love it when you win. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Glowing endorsement by Glenn Lawrence. Who, by the way, will get a small, tiny mention today because he's a very tiny person. So, yeah. Oy vey, it's Reignite. Hey, shalom, my brothers. I'm gonna come in here.
Just get a yarmulke.
You know, it's funny. It's God. Well, like Myron does his like Hasidic Jew outfit because he's just making fun. One of these days. Maybe after, because I'm going to shave my head pretty soon. I decided that right before I go into surgery, I'm probably just going to shave my head. Not that I need to, but I figured, why not, right? But what if I came back and I wore a yarmulke? And just don't say anything. Don't say anything. What is he, Ben Shapiro?
When you sign off, it's just shalom.
Yes. No, Rollo is not a Jew. Rollo is sorry. Come on now. You know what I am. God. So anyways, yes, 386 pages. It goes for retailing for $20.99, which is $1 less than most of the people who have similar books out there. And by the way, has been making its way up the charts in my chosen divisions, which by the way are some pretty tough ones. I decided I was going to usually when you do a book, you can launch a book two ways. You could be an idiot about it and just put it into, well, I think it's about this and this and this, and these are the categories. Never. If you hear my advice to you as an author, never put your book into at least one category, but never put your book into a category that is about your book. Never do that, because what will happen is it will get lost amongst other books. Like if I go and I put this in, like, well, I shouldn't say that. The last book I did was Player's Handbook. I did this. I put it in like a couple different categories, and then I put it in dating. Dating is the number one hardest fucking category to get a bestseller in. I got a bestseller in that. Yeah. So because I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for broke with this one and see what I can do. For this one, there's a few extra categories. Like every time I come back, if I do this is like, I haven't published a book in 3 years. Okay. So this is year 3, here we go. Which, by the way, I need to start stepping up my time frame. I think the older I get and the closer I get to dying on the surgery table, I know I kind of need to write a little bit more. I've kind of got that Steve Jobs effect. It's like as soon as he knew he was going to die, it's like he's like, yeah, I think I want an iPod and an iPad and an iPhone, and I want this and I want this and I want this. So anyways, oh boy, here we go. Thanks, Blight. Bye, Glenn. Bye, Glenn.
Tell that bitch to be cool.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. So everybody say bye. Bye, Glenn. No, I was going to say is that, so I usually pick like a couple categories that I know aren't impacted. And then there's my challenge category, which might be dating. In this case, my challenge category for this was mate seeking, which is a new category that wasn't available when I was doing some of my other books. So sometimes categories change over the years. Certainly it wasn't available when I was doing the original book, right? So dating, relationships, marriage, whatever. You put your book in those and you're going to like, what are you doing on here? Get down there, get down. To get into, like, there's gender studies right now. Yeah. Gender studies. If you do gender studies, men, you're probably going to be better off. Yeah. You do just general gender studies, and it's like every rabid, foaming at the mouth feminist has got a book on there. Like, what are you doing up here, little rational male? What the fuck is that? But I'm still like 3rd or 4th in gender studies, I think, for my digital content. So, and yes, it's available in hardback, which is the very first Rational Male book of the series that's available in hardback. So I have Kindle, you've got the paperback, and then I've got the hardback is available as well, and Audible will be coming out soon. Now, here's the next question. Let me head you off at the pass. Yes, I am going to release hardbacks of all of my books. Now that I know the process, because I went through the process to get this one out. And so now it's much easier. It's just what it requires me to do is it requires me to go into all the covers of the previous books and redesign or like resize, like redimension those books. So it's it'll take a little while, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with the very first book. And I was right before I started Reignite, I was right in the middle of doing a second edition of that book, because yes, I'm fully aware that the type is teeny tiny. I'm fully aware that there's all kinds of typos in it. There's all kinds of syntax errors and shit in there. As I said before, that was my very first book. Then I never thought I'd be doing another book again. So I am doing a new and improved reissue, let's just say, of the first book. None of the content changes. It's just, I'm just fixing all the shit I never fixed, right? So that's coming out soon. That's my next project right now. And yes, there will be a hardback version of it. Now, the other thing is this, is that book with the type size that, which I think is like 9 or 10 point type, which is like, yeah, you're right. It's fucking small. So if I increase the type size to like 11 or 12, the page count goes up. So the page count is right now, it's about a 300 page book with all the, the layout and everything that I've done thus far. I push that up to 12 point type, and you've got, I don't know, like 16 point leading or something like that, or line spacing, leading there. It could give you printer's measure. Then you're looking at probably about a 450 page book. So, which is fine. If you want the book, that's fine, but don't let the page count fool you. The word count is still the same fucking word count. It's just going to be a bigger end product, I should say. And that's the thing that gets me is every time I do a book, And this is like Rollo Tomassi, the author side of things. I do the layouts. It's one thing to write a book. It's another thing to produce and publish a book. There's three parts of putting a book together. There's like sort of the ideation of it and then writing it. Right. That's the whole part. Then edits. I fucking hate editing. I hate doing it. It's something you have to do as a writer. You have to edit. And especially in this niche, in this genre, in the red pill stuff, like, unless you know somebody, unless you have an editor that is in this space and knows what the manosphere is and knows what Alpha Widow is and knows what War Brides are and knows, like, don't give, if you're an aspiring author in this space, do not give your manuscript to somebody you hired off of, Fiverr or God forbid, Kindle Direct Publishing, because they have they'll put you in touch with that. Everybody wants to be an editor and make money, right? If you have somebody who's not initiated with this space, if they don't just throw it back in your face, they won't be able to give you like any really kind of positive feedback about how to like make things, using active voice and all this other shit too. So you kind of have to do the editing yourself. If you're lucky like me and you know some people who can help you with the editing, that's great. So it's always good to have an extra set of eyes. I also use Grammarly. People tell you not to use Grammarly. I don't when I'm writing, but when I'm editing, you're damn right I use Grammarly. Just for syntax, just for active voice, just for correcting typos and stuff like that. The thing is there's other ways to spell words that are still correct.
Yeah.
So when people, like, for instance, the word imposter comes up in my book quite a bit, like imposter syndrome, right? Did you know that you can spell imposter impostor, right? That's traditional spelling. You can also spell it imposter as well. And both of those are correct. One will come up as incorrect and one will not. But if you go and you look at it on like dictionary.com, they're both correct. Guess what will be the first fucking typo that gets reported to fucking Amazon? Guarantee it. Guarantee that's going to be the first thing people say. He didn't spell imposter right. No, it's both of those are correct. And you know what I'm going to do? Not an issue. Click. That's what I'm going to do.
Just spell it different every single imposter.
Yeah. Is the foreword written by, I'll take questions, by the way, about this if you guys want. Is the foreword written by Michael Sartain, or is there any place in the Rational Male Reignite book where you have given Michael Sartain a shout out because he seems to have been a very big inspiration? Do you work for MOA? Because the book is actually dedicated. See that dedication? The book is actually dedicated to Michael Sartain and Joe Marin. Joe Marin being my partner in Reignite, and Mike Sartain being my partner on Access Vegas. My heterosexual life partners, my heterosexual business partners, because we have to make it clear. Yes, there is a huge shout out. The entire book is dedicated to them. So there you go. You happy? Yes. Oh, we need Yes, I did. The previous book was dedicated to Pat Campbell, and then Religion was dedicated to Dalrock. And the second, go look up this dedication for the second book. I'll just let you guys figure that one out for yourself. There you go. Not quite, bro. Close, but no. Let's see. Hey, Rollo, doing as a lifelong extreme metal fan, how do you recommend I use that as an advantage in game? Well, that's funny you should say that. Especially these days, right? Well, I think it can help you in the sense that it's like sort of the character that you play, right? Mm-hmm. I have whenever I think about stuff like this, it's like it's in my first book, but it's also an essay on my blog, and it's called Have a Look. And it comes back to the fact that you kind of have to be, for better or worse, you have to be a character, right? You have to have a character. There has to be something about you that women like get off on, right? Like people would say, Rollo, how could you have had so many, 41 women? How have you fucked 41 women, before you got married, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you didn't have any money. You didn't have a fancy car, you didn't, but The thing is I had a look. I was playing a character that women wanted to fuck at that time, right? And that was metal guy. That was like hair down to my ass and playing in a band and everything that I was doing. So it didn't matter. I've always said this. It didn't matter how much money I had. Like my liquid assets were a 1979 Toyota T100 pickup truck with no tailgate. It had the net. It had the mesh net on the back of it. So my amp and my guitars wouldn't fall out the back. And and my amp and my guitars. Those were my liquid assets. I had 2 fucking nickels to rub together. You know what? That's the time of my life I got more pussy than any other fucking time of my life. Didn't have to spend a dime. Chicks would fucking buy me drinks, dude. They would, like, I always say, if a chick came, and wanted to, if I'd be talking to a girl and if I had a drink or whatever, and I went and did a set and she came back and she's still watching my drink, I knew it was on. Those drinks were mostly bought by other girls. Just saying. So it didn't take any money to do that, but it was sort of having that kind of, that lifestyle, that character, right? And you don't have to be metal. I mean, it could be something. You could be goth guy. You could be fucking. I'm sure Jake Monroe cleans up or did clean up. I know he's married or he's got a baby mama and he's got a kid now. He's the most domestic goth I know. But the goth thing definitely works for Jake, right? And I'm not sure I could pull off the goth thing with any kind of success. And people would go, "Why does he look like that?" You guys tell me that already. I will guarantee you, when I change my look and I shave my head and I start dressing differently, I would never take any advice from this guy. He looks too uptight. What is he, a traditional conservative? I bet he likes Nick Fuentes. That's what you're going to say. Yeah. Yes. Use it to your advantage in the sense that, like, it's the character. And again, are you going to use that character to pick up, good church? You might actually pick up good church going girls. So you never know, but there's that kind of mystique. It's like, it's projecting a perception of yourself. Just make sure that you're congruent in it. Don't make it like, don't have, like, they say, like, you can wear the suit or the suit can wear you. Mm-hmm. Don't let the suit wear you, in the sense that you're a metal guy, the metal guy being the suit. Right. So, I got a question. Dear Rollo, will you translate your books into other languages? For example, Polish. Bro, there's been a Polish translation of my books for longer than any other translation. There are already Polish translations of my books. There are Spanish translations of my books. There are German translations of my books. And yes, Turkish is the next one that everybody keeps demanding. So Turkish is definitely coming up. There is it was not an officially sanctioned translation, but you'll find me in Farsi, you'll find me in Portuguese, which was I gave him permission to do it. Like, to be honest with you, there is not a lot of money in translations. I'm just going to say that right now. So, like, people want to, like, for an author, there's not a lot. For people doing the translations, I'm sure there's all kinds of money into it. But as an author, the only translation I make money consistently from is my Spanish translations, because that's what the second most or third most spoken language in the world, right? So what the most spoken language in the world is? Not English. Mandarin.
Yep, Chinese Mandarin.
I need to have this done in Mandarin. Oh, and by the way, speaking of which, yes, all 5, soon to be 6 books that I have published are all available in Korean as well. So there's plenty of translations, my friend. And I do that as a courtesy. Like, trust me, if you see the money I make off of my Korean translation, yeah, not a lot, but I do that because, like, people will make translations of my books whether I officially sanction them or not, which is kind of a phenomenon if you think about it. Yeah. Like, I mean, I understand they're trying to do it because they're making money, but they don't have to. I can't imagine how much money they're actually making off of the Farsi translation or the Flemish translation. Like, how many people in Belgium are actually reading my book?
Done in Old Norse.
Yeah, yeah. Can we get it in Norwegian, Norse? I'd be happy to do. I wouldn't make any money off of it, but I would certainly allow you to make a translation of it. See, that's the thing, is, like, I'm not of the opinion that, like, I should just, like, oh, well, if I can't make any money off of it, I'm not going to do it. No, I'll do freaking translations. And I know that with the full understanding that I know I'm not going to be making a whole shit ton of money off of it. A little here and there. I might get an advance. I got an advance from the Korean ones, but Not that much. What, a couple grand? Okay. I do it because I know that there is a growing number of young men in Korea that want to read my book. Okay, fine. And you know what? Even if I don't sanction it, some dude's just going to do it themselves anyways, because that's how passionate everybody is about this material. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when I have to, and I've made this point before, but I'm going to, since it's my show today, I'm going to reiterate it again. I remember when I had to deal with Destiny talking shit about like, oh, the red pill's time is over, blah, blah, blah. I was here today and gone tomorrow, blah, 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 and everything like that. And at the very same day, or seriously, the same day or the same week, he's talking to, was it? I think it was Chris Williamson. Like, what happened to the red pill? like it's gone now, right? And the very same day, I'm actually publishing like translations of my Spanish book. My German book goes live. I've got people in Kenya who want it in fucking Swahili. Don't give me this bullshit that it's the red pill's gone. Or people think that it's like just about the United States. It's all those incels jerking off in their basements playing Call of Duty and just grinding their teeth and their existential angst at women. I hate women. Have you seen the 40K thing where it's like, we hate boobies. Yes. And then they're like, it looks like, God damn it. Why didn't I put that in one of the things? We hate boobies. And it's because they're trying to make like female space marines. Trust me, there will never be female space marines. Never, never, never. People say never say never. I'm telling you never. But that's what they think. Like the United States is red pill good. We hate women. Boobies bad. No. And it's a global international thing. And you know, that's the thing is like whenever I saw it, like when we were watching when all the bullshit was going on with adolescence, which like flew in and flew out like a fart in the wind. Now nobody's talking about that. I had that black dude from Oxford who was like talking shit about Charlie Kirk. That guy George Allende, not Allende, George something or other. And he's still the senior fellow or whatever of the Oxford Foundation or Oxford Institute or at Oxford, right? Remember when I announced on this show that I was being invited to go speak at Oxford or debate whoever at Oxford, and they were trying to get me and Myron and like who else was Chris Williamson's name had been mentioned. Fresh was on the list too. That would have been cool. Me and Fresh, like all suit and tied and like, you know, our cap and gown and shit like that. That'd be great. But when I was invited to Oxford, you know, I think one of the reasons why people were kind of shitting their pants and kind of still are today is because it's a worldwide thing. It's not just the United States. It's not just the UK. We need to fight the Andrew Tate bots here in the UK, and we need to make it so that if you say something we don't like, we can send the Gestapo to come and like bash down your door and take your kid back to jail for a mean meme, right? But I have a small army of Kenyans that want me to come to Kenya and to Nairobi and go do a talk there, which I have been struggling to get to do. At some point, I would really want to get out there. I have Dr. Red Pill, by the way. Big shout out to Dr. Oz, who is in Turkey, and he kind of bounces between the United States and Turkey. He's a cosmetic surgeon, good friend of mine. I've met him at least once in Miami. Good dude. Actually gave me an oud. That's where I got my oud from. And yes, I know Turkey wants me to come and, you know, do a talk there. I've had multiple people want me to come and speak in the UK, although I'm almost afraid of, like, as soon as I walk off the plane, like Interpol will be right there to take me to jail. Korea wants me to come out there. It's like I said, the red pill, whenever I produce a new book, people are like, oh, I'm so glad it's available in Australia. I'm like, Australia? You know, it was shocking to me because I had no idea it was available in Australia. But Japan, you know, there's a lot of different places, but you got to remember that the red pill is not like, I think we get a little isolated. We get like tunnel vision, right? We think that we're only one part, like, because I'm sitting here in front of this laptop and the red pill this and the red pill that, and I'm going to write a book about it and everything else. It's the thing about writing a book is it's a very isolating experience. If you are not good with long periods of just like isolation and just like people wonder, oh, is Rollo an extrovert or is he an introvert? You kind of have to be an introvert to be able to be a decent author. Now, I am an extrovert by necessity, but like when it comes to the kinds of things that I like to do when I don't have to do anything, I'm much more introverted. Right? I mean, I like going out and partying. I like going and hanging out with Mike and the girls and stuff like that at clubs. Don't get me wrong, I love that shit. Fuck, I play in a band for Christ's sake. But like when it's writing a book, you kind of have to have that mentality and you have to be good with that. And you have to be able to tell everybody to go fuck off. And I mean, because people will bug you. How come it takes so long to write a book? It probably would take you half the time to write a book if people would just leave you the fuck alone.
If it ain't Sunday, I'm not texting Rollo.
Yeah, well, or they people who know you're an author, they're like, bro, I'm moving. Can you come help me move? You got a truck, right? I'm like, yeah, you don't do anything. The fuck I know. What's going on, brother? Are those guns registered in the state of Nevada? What is it? If they're under 18, it's open carry. Congratulations with another great book. Thanks for saving men's lives. Love and respect from Norway. See, I knew somebody's from Norway. So I was just going to say, as people want to know what the book's really about, and so I'm just going to give you the quick rundown here before I move on, because I don't want to make the entire show about just the book. The book is called Reignite, and yes, I also have a program for guys called Reignite. Does this have to do with that? Yes and no. Is it a good standalone book? Yes, it is. You don't have to be in my Reignite program to appreciate it. However, if you just got into the manosphere, if you just got into the red pill, if you're wondering, oh, it's just a bunch of guys trying to get their dick wet, right? Oh, we hate boobies. If you think that that's what the red pill is about, this is a book you need to read. Mostly what I do in this book is I take what would otherwise be sort of disparate concepts that you're probably all familiar with. I've done podcasts. I've talked about these in previous books. So if we talk about something like, say, the burden of performance, right? How does the burden of performance interact or like dovetail or work synergistically with frame? Right? How does your burden of performance affect your frame, the world into which you have that women want to enter into? Right? How does your mental point of origin affect your burden of performance, or affect your frame, or affect, So I'm looking at all of these different kind of concepts that we kind of take for granted right now. At least I do, anyways. Take for granted, and I've linked them together and tried to make them as useful as I possibly can. So one of the things that people have always told me in the past is that, Rollo, this is great stuff. It's good information. It's like drinking from a fire hose, and it's a lot of info. It's really difficult to process. I mean, one of the reasons why Rich Cooper wrote Unplugged Alpha is because it's really kind of like the stripped down sort of like cliff notes to the rational male. And I understand, because it can be a lot all at once. Well, so in this book, I'm trying to solve that problem a little bit and make it more usable and make it more actionable. Am I telling you exactly what to do? No, I'm not. But I am pointing you in the right direction in this book, okay? By linking all of these subjects together, what is going to be expected of you. Now, remember, if you will, the second book, which was Preventive Medicine, and I built that on a timeline. Actually, this timeline, where did it go? The entire book is based around this timeline here. Now, the reason I did that book was because I had so many people after the first book, they were telling me, Rollo, I wish I would have known all this stuff before I got married, before I got divorced, before I had kids, before I did this. I wish I would have known this, because I would have made different decisions. My life that could have been redirected had I had this information before I made those decisions that led up to where I am right now, which is why I need your book in the first place. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so what that was is preventive medicine was to prevent you from having to get to the point where you have the disease, right? Where you have the problem, where you have the difficulties later on, right? It's the medicine that you need. What is it? A pound per pound, an ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure, right? That's really what the premise of that book. Here I go, allegories again. That was the premise of that book. And so from that perspective, I wanted to write a book that's like to say, okay, well, for the guys who haven't made you the same decisions, this is your book, right? And it's the shortest, smallest book that I have, and people, it's like the sleeper hit of the entire series. Everybody loves that book, and so I was trying to sort of tap into that same energy with Reignite, because really Reignite is directed for guys who are trying to rebuild themselves, who are trying to put themselves back together, who are already in I wish I would have known this stuff, but they're already in that bad position. So this is the kind of like, okay, well, now you've been zeroed out. Where do I go from here? Well, you can either delete yourself or you can rebuild yourself, reignite yourself. And that's really what the premise of the book is about, is like, or you don't even have to have gone through a zeroing out. You could just say, look, I'm not where I want to be in life right now. I'm still 30 years old. I've never kissed a girl. I've never had a date. I've never got a second date, right? I've never, I'm in a position right now where I'm not getting out of life what I think I should be able to get out of it, or like I'm not where I want to be, right? Whether it's romantically, and by the way, it's not just about your romantic prospects or getting intimate with women. It's also about like personally, like when I talk about burden of performance, that's not just about, oh, well, you've got to live up to women's expectations. That's not what that's about. It's living up to your own expectations. It's living up to your maximizing your personal potential. Because like what they say, like the person you meet at the end of your life is the guy you could have been if you'd maximized your, that's the definition of hell, is meeting that dude. Like if you'd have just done these things, if you'd have made better choices, you could have been me, but look at you, you're about to die, right? It's having that personal potential get up to as best as you can for wherever you are in life. You know, like sometimes, what do they say? What's the Chinese proverb? It's like, what's the best time to plant a tree, right? 30 years ago. When's the second best time? Right fucking now. Right? So that's really what Reignite's about. It's about helping you sort of rebuild your life, unfuck your life, of course, but like rebuilding you. Like, what are you going to do now? And I did this because guys are in a demographic right now where it's like, men are 4.5 to 5 times more likely to take their own lives. If you're coming out of a nasty divorce, I just realized it's 9 times more likely to delete yourself if you are coming. And why? Because guys don't have tribes. Guys don't have networks. Guys don't have that support system. Guys don't know what to do. They don't have a guide. They don't have a book to help them. That's what this was meant to do, is to help you become a better version of you, become to at least, even if you don't reach the best version of you, whatever the fuck that is, right? Because that's really subjective to you, but at least it's a guide, it's a direction, it's a point me over here, point me this way, that kind of thing. So that you're not necessarily, I'm going to be the best version of myself. That's just churn fucking marketing. That's just funnel marketing speak. Okay. I will never tell you, I want you to be the best version of yourself. No, I want you to realize your fucking potential. That's what I want you to do. Like I've said this before. I'm not in the business of making men better men. I'm in the business of helping men become the men that they become better men, right? Giving you the tools, this is another toolbox. That's what this is. That's what the new book is about. It's really about sort of helping you reignite, reinvent yourself, and put yourself back on the map, put you back in the game, right? And hopefully do it with more accurate information. One of the reasons why guys get into such trouble, or they wanted the second book, they wanted preventive medicine so much, was because they're like, I wish I would have known this stuff, right? Well, at least now I have a book I can give to my son so he doesn't make the same mistakes that I made, right? Well, great. I'm happy for your son, but you're still in a pretty rough spot. What are we going to do about you? This is what we're going to do about you. And so the Reignite becomes this, not even just my program, which of course is to help guys, hands-on, to actually, be the guy that's there trying to help you out with this stuff, like doing the actual work, but also giving you a primer for it. That's what this book is. If you're in my program, if you're in the Reignite program, this is the primer. You're going to get this for free. Join the club and you will get the book, right? Get the t-shirt, get the book, but, it's meant to be a primer. It's meant so that you have a good starting point, because there's a lot of fucking information, even in my own work, man. That's now it's 6 books, right? That's a lot to read. If I go, well, before you join my program, you're going to have to read all 5, now 6 books. Okay. So I wouldn't make you do that. So really, you've got to read the first book. The first book is really sort of like the core rule set. And then all the other books that are around it are kind of like the supplements to the rules, you know? And so people always ask me, like, do I have to read them in order? No, you don't. You can read book 1 and then read Reignite. You can read book 1 and then read Positive Masculinity, right? You'll be better off if you read book 1 first, because it will give you the vernacular and the frame of reference that you need for the other ones. Like I said, it's the core rule set. I think like a fucking gamer, right? It's the core rule set, and then there's like sort of the supplements that surround the rule set. This is one more supplement that goes around the rule set. Okay, so that's what Reignite's really about. It's about helping you like get up. Sedation. There's an entire section dedicated to how to get out of sedation and why it's important to unsedate yourself and what you can do about it. You want me to just go through this really quick? I'll just go really fast here. Well, there's the foreword that I wrote. There's the introduction, there's the overview and stuff like that. Burden of performance, your mission, her mission, be a man. Shedding your skin. This is frame. There's a whole section on frame. Shedding your skin, control, congruence, which is something I've talked about quite a bit, right? A lot. I don't think I have ever in any of my books outlined the concept of congruence. You'll get it in here. Desire. Okay. How does desire and unnegotiated desire transfer into, say, frame? How do you want transactional sex? Do you want validational sex from within your own frame? That comes down to, and then imposter syndrome. Like, I feel like I'm acting, Rollo. The utilities of frame, how to leverage and how to use frame to your best advantage. Then there's the next one, which is called obstacles. Obstacles is sedation. There's the whole section on sedation. Mindset. And by the way, mindset is not something, it's not like the Tony Robbins version of mindset. Okay. So it's not like, oh, you just got to think positive thoughts and look at yourself in the mirror and go, you're a fucking winner. No, you're a fucking loser. Get out there and fucking make it a great day. No, that's not what mindset's about. Not by my definition anyways. Mindset is really, is sort of your mission statement that proceeds from mental point of origin, which, by the way, I've got alpha in here. What constitutes alpha? Then I've got conditional alpha, which I've gone over before. Then there's confidence. How do I get confidence? Well, girls say they want confident guys. Confidence doesn't just apply to fucking bitches. It also applies to how other men like perceive you and how your family perceives you. So there's a lot more. All of these things, they can definitely be used for intersexual dynamics. That's where they all are derived from, but they're not limited to intersexual dynamics. So that's the beauty of the red pill, but certainly my work is you can apply all of this stuff to so many other ways. It's not just about like fucking girls. It's not just about getting your dick wet. As I said, this is not PUA. This is like life. This is life.
Behavioral
psychology. Then I got to true nature, which is about human nature. And there's biology. Then I talk about sexual market value, which I have not really gone into in any extreme detail up until now. The role of hypergamy, how hypergamy fits into all of this. I'm not giving you some reiteration of hypergamy. I mean, I have to sort of explain what it is, right? But like alpha fucks, beta bucks. But how does that fit into frame? How does that fit into mental point of origin? How does that fit into all these key aspects, right? So when you see it, hypergamy, I don't want to read about hypergamy again, read it anyways, because what I'm doing is I'm taking the concept of hypergamy and I'm applying it to different aspects throughout the entire book, right? Avoiding the sugar baby, which is going to be everybody's favorite chapter. Trust me, that is I had to add a little bit of humor in here. It's not only is it about avoiding the sugar baby, but also know when a girl's on Molly. How to know when a girl's on Molly? Her eyes are dilated. And she's really wants to touch you. Observational analysis strategies, sexual strategies, mating strategies, male mating strategies, becoming a high value man. Boy, is that ever going to be a loaded chapter. Rollo doesn't know what a high value man is. Yes, I do. In fact, it's right here in the book. There you go. Is he finally going to determine what a high value man is? Doesn't he have to have billions and billions of dollars? long-term frame, and then relationship types. Okay, so I'm also apply. So if you're already in a relationship, you don't have to be single to read this book and benefit from this book. You can be in a sexless marriage. Oh, Rollo, I don't want to fucking get divorced. I'm still in love with my wife. How do I make her like turn the fucking sex spigot back on? Right. There you go. Done. Okay. If you have any questions about the books, I'm always happy to answer those along the way. But for now, we're going to get into people. But Rollo, Matt Walsh awaits. My copy of Reignite just arrived. Thanks, Rollo. I hope you like the cover, my friend. Let's see. Honestly, brother, I wish I would have had your book when I was in my early 20s, because when I have never made I would have never made the mistakes I made. You are a true saint. Yes, I know. Oh, wait, here we go. Which is going to be interesting. That's a nice segue into the next part of today's show. Let's see. Hey, your brother just texted me. You know what he asked me?
What?
Do you have a truck? Are you? He has to be.
Has to be
text
watching.
him and ask him if he's watching. Text him and ask him, do you have a truck? I need to move. I wonder if he's watching. He's probably watching, because you would see him he would be in the chat.
Yeah.
I think he's a mod in my chat. That's too fucking funny. All right. So why am I getting into the rest of this today? So I've been watching this. I've been checking out this Twitter account, and the Twitter account is called D Christian something or other? D Christian Life. D-E Christian Life. And if you're wondering where all these new video, there it is. D Christian Life. I don't know if this is like meant to be a parody account or if it's like a real deal, but maybe it is. I'm inclined to think it is, but that's not what I'm looking for. There it is. Share the screen. D Christian Life. There we go. So this is D Christian Life. And it has it's basically a bunch of like these really kind of like schmaltzy ass like videos. Some of them are about fathers, but most of them are like women like this, which is like standard churchy look. Then you got ortho guy here. This is why I will never be ortho. This right. I don't know if I got people go, Rollo, you could pull that look off easy because you're like a grandpa. Let's see. Here it is, like feminine counsel to all wives. This is where you get really, really bad like marriage and dating advice for evangelical Christian Protestants. That they're not real Christians, are they?
She's not a Christian!
Yeah. So all of these things, this is just, oh God, this was so pathetic.
I think one of the biggest thing that men are lacking is actual encouragement from the women in their life. Very few men are drunk on compliments. They are starving for encouragement. I'm probably the most encouraged human that I've ever met in my whole life by people that I don't really know that well. I mean, pray with people and sign books and do all of that. And most people are there to say, way to go. God used you to change my life. And it's great. Praise God for that.
And his wife's like, did you do the dishes?
And one good job from Gretchen outweighs all of that. And
yeah, you know why? Because one attaboy from Gretchen is more rare than all these dudes coming up to you, which is pathetic.
It's not even close. Encouragement on the lips of a wife is gold in the heart of a husband.
Yes, because it is so fucking rare. And so anyways, this is where I've been getting these videos here. I'm gonna just kind of riff on a couple of these before we jump into Matt Walsh. And the reason why is because this is a great segue into what Matt's getting at here, because today we're going to do a little bit of compare and contrast. Okay. So that's where so in case you're wondering, that's where I'm pulling today's videos from, is from D Christian Life. And I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, you probably have seen me like sort of like, chime in and be snarky about some of these things. Everybody's doing this right now. It's not even just me. It's like a lot of like Ryan Stone, Rich Cooper. Trying to think who else. There's like half a dozen other guys that I know in our space, let alone sort of like the black pill doomer PUA space as well. It's like the overarching message of all of this is, why get married? Really, why get married? Because for most of these guys, their sex life revolves around trying to jump through multiple hoops all the time just to get an attaboy from Gretchen, right? Just to get just to get your dick touched by Karen, you know? So I've got a bunch of these like on tap here, and let's, before we get to, here we go. And if these seem pathetic to you, that's actually the point here. God, this is, okay, if you don't know who Mark Driscoll is, here, I'll just tell you afterwards. Here.
To touch your wife's body, the first thing you need to learn to do is touch her soul. That's why praying with your wife is the most intimate thing you can do. That's why a lot of people will sleep with somebody, but they won't pray with them because it's too intimate. The deepest level is at the level of the soul. Praying together, worshiping God together. Take some time every week. Look your wife in the eye. Pray with your wife. Pray over your wife. Talk to your wife. Here's a crazy idea. Listen to your wife. They find that sexy. So try.
They find that sexy. No, they don't. Wait, let me finish the rest of that out. Put it back up. Oh, that was it. Okay, that was it. Okay, my bad. Sorry, Mark. God. If you know anything about Mark's history with the Mars Hill faction up in Washington or something, in Tacoma, something like that. He's probably the last person on planet Earth that should be giving any kind of marriage advice, much less any kind of sort of like positive masculinity advice to anybody. But be that, I'm not, that would be a huge can of worms for me to open up right now. But the thing is like, this is one example of how misled and how just oblivious most Christian guys are. Now, before I get into this too deep, I'm going to reiterate a very, what's also in REIGNITE. Right? I'm going to reiterate an idiom, a red pill idiom, which is the 80-20, 4.5% rule, right? So we know through statistically speaking, 80% of guys are invisible to women. Those are the guys who are the shelf stalkers at CVS. Like Mike and I have talked about this all the time. They are simply, the women just don't see them. It's not that they are indifferent to them, although they are indifferent to them. It's not that they're indifferent to them. It's the fact that they are literally functionally invisible to them. It's when those guys make themselves visible that they become creeps. They're the guys that say, stay out of my fucking airspace, right? Then there's the 20% of guys. Those guys are the guys who are like, he might do if he has money, or if he has some sort of extenuating like contingency for making up for not being as hot as the 4.5% guys, right? So you've got the 80% guys, you've got the 20% guys, and you've got the 4.5% guys. 4.5% guys is easy. That's Justin Waller, right? Those are the guys that women will actively, Luigi. Those are the guys that women will actively take a role in initiating some kind of contact with those guys, because they're usually on Tinder or whatever. It's just because they're fucking hot, right? It could be a lot of things, but mostly it's because the guy is super good looking, or is super good looking and has his shit together, right? So he's as close to a total package as the guy gets. And those are the guys that women will compete for, or will, I should say compete. They will share if the arises, if the cause arises, right? But I don't want to talk about those guys right now. And I'm not really going to focus on the 80%er guys. I want to talk about the 20%er guys, because that's the dudes that we're talking about in these videos. He'll have to do all of these things because he's not my ideal. He's the guy he'll have to do guy. He's the guy who, when women get to 28, 29 years old, that Tommy Laren's like, men ain't shit. And then at 29, they get married. That guy that she marries is he'll have to do guy.
Placement.
He's the placeholder guy. Yes. And he's the, remember I showed you that one video about the guy who's the boring guy. Get with the boring guys, right? The boring guy is the guy that the woman gets with at 29 years old and divorces by 37, 38 years old. Statistically speaking, going by the template, going by the theme, right? And so that 20% guy is the dude who is like, if a woman thinks she's a 6 or 7, then the guy she gets with has to be a 7. Has to be parity, right? But women are not interested in, like when we talk about alpha fucks and beta bucks. How do we talk about that? Well, we have like men who are like 1 through 10. You got women who are 1 through 10. I'm sure you've seen the. Do I have the graphic? I might have the graphic set up here. Oh yes, I do. Here it is. So here we go. This is the sexual freedom versus regulated sexuality. Okay, regulated sexuality is what guys who subscribe to assortative mating really hope the world works like, but it really doesn't. Sexual freedom is really what it's about. Okay, so you've got like the ones, the twos through the twos wants to get with the 7, the 3 wants to get with the 7, the 4 wants to get with an 8, 5, and you can see on up the chain of command right there. Okay. But the thing that women don't really want is what you see on the regulated side. So a 6 gets with a 6, a 7 gets with a 7. And again, this is preferences. This is not who they actually get with. This is who they would prefer. The left side, excuse me, the left side of this graph here, the sexual freedom side of the graph, is what women would prefer. Now, according to assortative mating, the right side of this schedule here is what generally what people think people should be getting with. Like a 6 gets with a 6. And well, the thing is women's mating strategy. I'm just going to do this the whole fucking time. Women's mating strategy, because there's a whole section of this, by the way. I'm just repeating a part of the book right here. Women's mating strategy does not revolve around lateral shifts. It's not a lateral change. Like when if you're in a job, right? You don't want a lateral change. You've already got invested into one particular job. You don't want a lateral change. I wouldn't want to you get $60,000 here and you get $60,000 here.
Kind of upgrade.
The amount of headache it would take you to just do that lateral shift is like, why would you do that? I'm making the same amount of money here and I don't want to go through all the bullshit to get to this. So what do I get out of that? Okay. Well, I'm a 6 and she's a 6, but I have to convince her I'm a 6.25 or a 6.5, right? Or a 6.7. I'm not quite a 7, but I'm somewhere along those lines, right? And that's when value added, the concept of value added comes into play. So a woman will get a 6, will get with a 6 if the guy who is the 6 as well, and he's in that 20% range, because trust me, the guys who are in the 20% range are on the regulated side of sexuality right here. Okay. That's the belief set anyways. So the 6 has to at least convince that woman that he is a 6.5 because he's funny, because he has a better education, because he makes more money, because he has some other value added feature that pushes him up just a touch, pushes him a little bit up that chain, right? Even if that's completely false, the perception that he could be a 7 if he put on a tuxedo. He could be a 7 if he got that promotion. He could be a 7 if he got to the gym more regularly. He could be a 7 if he would just go down to Palm Springs Tan and he got the dark tan with 2 highlights and 1 amethyst. If he got all those additives in there, he could be a 7. That's oddly specific. Yes, I understand. If he got a spray tan, he would go from a 6 to a 7. What is it? If he's not on trend, I don't want him. If he would just take trend, maybe he could go to an 8. And I'm a 6 because women, remember, hypergamy never seeks its own level. That's why assortative mating will always be false, because hypergamy always wants one step above it. And even if it's completely false, even if the guy's a 5 and she's a 7, and that guy manages through some sorcery to convince that woman that he is actually a 10 or a 9 or an 8, doesn't matter. It's perception is fucking everything, right? And so until such time as she goes, this is just a 5, I could be getting with this guy, right? So women do not want that lateral change. Hypergamy does not seek its own level. The problem with this is that young Christian evangelical guys haven't got that fucking memo, and I'm here to give it to you because I care. So that's how you get these problems. So what's the common denominator amongst all of this, right? Is and we're about to watch Matt Walsh tell us why we should all get married. and tell us why we should get a wife and why it's the best thing in the world. And his ideology, it's basically his ideology is superior to your ideology. That's what it comes down to, because functionally, practically, pragmatically, he has no fucking legs to stand on whatsoever. Well, until we get to the point where it's talking about ideologically speaking, this should be the way that things really are, right? They're not, but he'll make his case. I'll make my case. Okay. In fact, James Sexton will make his case for him too. So anyways, getting back to it. So when we're looking at the 20%ers, most of the guys who are in quote unquote Christian marriages are the he'll have to do guy. And usually the guys that are popping off about how any word of encouragement from their wife is like pirate's gold to them, those are the guys who went from being a 6 to a 6.5. Those are the guys who just got a little bit, and they got so much because they stuck to their guns. They're self-righteous as fuck. That you will never meet a more self-righteous man than the guy who's the white knight who actually hit pay dirt. He's the guy who actually made something work for himself. See, I did it the right way and I stuck to it, right? That guy's name is Steven Crowder. That's what happens, right? And then later on, Hillary divorces him. They get into trouble. Like there's a Ring video or some closed circuit TV caught him on camera or some shit like that. Because Steven Crowder was one of those guys that had potential. And he was working for, was it Fox News, I think at the time? And when he got married, he was popping out. I still got the link, Steve. I got the link. I still have the link to the article he wrote back in 2015, 2016 when he married Hillary. And it was just the most self-evincing, like saccharine bullshit. And I will guarantee I'll just say it. I say the quiet parts out loud. I guarantee he regrets putting that out now. Because it was like, oh, we met each other at church camp and we did everything the right fucking way, right? And how did that work out for you? So you can use those examples. In fact, I was waiting for somebody to pop off to Matt Walsh about like, okay, what do you have to? How come you've never had Steven Crowder on your show to talk about how men and women ought to do marriage? I know. Do you know? But he was one of these 20%er guys. He had potential. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, Steven Crowder has made a lot of himself. He's maximized his potential and no hate whatsoever for Steve. But when you look at the path that led to where he is right now, it's been rocky. Let's just say that to put it as diplomatically as I possibly can. Okay. So when we look at these guys, and that I'm about to show you here in just a moment, like the guy who was the chore play guy. Like, let me go see if I can find chore play guy. It was too good, right? This one. Here we go.
I did the dishes.
Thank you.
And I dried them too and put them away.
Okay.
The laundry's all taken care of.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is just funny. They're funning around. No, they actually believe this shit. This is chore play. I've written about chore play I've been writing about it since 2007. It's one of my earliest essays actually on the Rational Male blog. But I was writing about it on the SoSwap forums from as far back as 2007, because that's how far this shit goes back. This chore play repeats itself. What is chore play? Chore play is the idea that if you did more shit around the house, if you changed the diapers, if you if you sorted out everything, and you scrubbed the toilets, and you did all that shit that this guy is doing, that your wife is going to want to fuck you because of that. The same principle is exactly what Driscoll was just talking about a moment ago, right? We got to pray with her and you got to do these things. They have like a solution to everything. They think they know what they're talking about. These are guys who they're guys who don't fuck, who happen to get married. I'm not saying beta men don't get married. I'm not saying beta men never get laid. They do. When they're lucky, when they're the guy who's like, oh, you're 30, I'm 30 now too. Or you're 32, I'm 30 now. Oh, You were right here all along. You're the one. I finally realized I really got into my Bible and I prayed about it and I prayed about you. And we've known each other since we were in high school. And I know I had my crazy time and I had my fun, but I really need to get serious. And I found God and I'm reading the Bible every day. And he really put it upon my heart that, that we're supposed to get together. And if you think that we're not supposed to get together, well, then you're defying the Lord himself, the Lord on high. And a guy who's in sexual deficit, who just a touch, a word of encouragement is like manna from fucking heaven in the desert of desolation. Of course, here's a woman who wants to fuck me. It must be divine intervention. It must be the Lord that has brought this woman to me. All right. No, you're just there because it's convenient. And so and let me just stop you ladies, because I'm going to get some chick in the comments, or I'm going to get some chick in the chat that's going to say this. So just let me explain to you first. Rollo, don't you think that it could be sincere? Don't you think a woman could actually have a sincere change of heart? Why are you so pessimistic and cynical? I'm not. I 100% agree that if you were to talk to most of these women at that particular point in their time in their lives, the epiphany phase, right? 29, 30, 31 years old, when they're getting right with God and they want this guy to jump through these hoops because they don't want you to think I'm easy, mister. And, it's like, I've had my fun, no fun for you. And I need you to know that I'm serious and I need to know that you're serious too. And so we're going to do this the right way, and no sex before marriage, even though I fucked the guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break. Okay, it was free for him, but you know what? It's not free for you. So, but I'm different. I'm changed. I'm a higher quality woman, and higher quality women do these things, right? So how can you not want me to be that way? I get it. Would that woman pass a polygraph test if you said, "Are you really sincere about these beliefs?" Yes, I am. It would say, yes, she's 100% sincere. I don't question that whatsoever. You know what I question? The timing of it. Bloody fucking convenient that it happens it happens right here. As your sexual market value is in free fall, or at least halfway through the free fall section right there, ladies. You're the pink one there, the pink bell curve. Okay.
Rollo, where did you get the stats for that?
I didn't. I had collected them over the course of 20 years. That's where. As women's sexual market value is on its decline, men's, if they are maximizing their potential, if they're maximizing their potential, theirs is on the ascent at that point. And that's when it's very critical that men remain stupid. And that's what most of these guys are. Stupid. Well, they're ignorant. There's a difference between stupid and ignorant. They're ignorant of their own condition. They're ignorant of the game that they're in right now. And that's why they hate the red pill. That's why women hate the red pill. And that's why Christian men hate the red pill, because they don't like being reminded of the realities and the function and the mechanics of the game that they found themselves in back when they were 31, 32 years old, and they made the decision to marry that chick with two kids from two different fathers, because that's what the Lord said, is you're not the stepdad, you're the dad who stepped up. Or she was in the position where she had to be, look for a guy who's a man with benefits. The lights are coming on at the club and I got to find a guy to go home with. They don't like to be like men. Shit, men are even more militant than the women are. Women are militant about it because what I say and what the red pill says, just in general, statistically speaking, I don't even have to be like qualitative about it. I can just be quantitative about it and show you numbers and stats and facts and everything like that. Just me bringing it up is enough to piss off women, because it exposes the game. It puts them at a very great disadvantage, because these guys don't need to know. Everything in this book is true, Rollo, and he shouldn't know anything about it. Ha, 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 ha. I have to do ha, ha, ha. And cue nervous laugh. And men don't like that, because when guys get to be 35, 38, whatever, and they're hitting their stride and everything else, they don't like to be reminded that they probably could have waited another 2 or 3 years or 4 years, and then it would have been more sexually selective, so they wouldn't have been the last resort. Are you the last resort? Are you your Christian good trad wife's last resort? Because a lot of guys are, such as Mark Driscoll, such as this guy, and you're not making a good case for Christian marriage here. I hate to say this, but This guy.
My house. I run the vacuum cleaner. I run the dishwasher. I run the washer and dryer. I serve my wife. The bottom line, we are competitive and we try to outserve and outlove one another.
I'm a better slave than she is, and she tries to be a better slave than I do.
Okay, so it's not 50-50, it's giving all you have to each other. But we do prioritize each other. And we have 3 grown children, as Martika said, and they have always known that they are loved, but that we come first. So they just knew not to burst in our bedroom. They had to knock, and if they burst through the doors, we say, go back out. This is holy ground right here, meaning our bedroom. All right?
This is like the Dr. Phil. What was the other guy? Who's the black Dr. Phil?
Yeah.
Why am I blocking his name?
Yeah.
Yes. It's basically the same shit, man. And the thing that gets me is all the hell. Yes. It's that was just like one of the more egregious ones right there. Let's see. Well, this is a great one. No. Oh, yeah, here you go.
This to all the men here. Love your wife passionately, support, show empathy and affection, but also be the leader in your house. You are the leader. A leader is not a boss. A leader is a leader. You
What the fuck is a leader then? A leader is not a boss. He is a leader. Okay.
And not because of sex. And because you don't also want trouble, run away from the truth. But the truth must be spoken in love. If you notice your wife is competitive, in love, share with her that, dear, this is not good. Until she gets out of it for the sake of the family. Not that you
keep your bitch in pocket.
Keep covering it and keep covering it until you can't cover it anymore. A man should be a man. I used to have a friend whose wife was going around doing something she should not do because she was earning more than the man, and the man was gentle and she was a real tomboy, and the man just did not want trouble. Till she got involved with a particular case she ought not, and she died. I remember when I saw the husband after the death, it just because people were there in the house mourning. If they were not there, I was going to tell him that you killed this girl. All our friends.
You killed this girl. How? What a mind fuck that.
Told her that what she was doing was, you were the only one that kept quiet. You didn't want to rock the boat. At times we need to rock the boat to get to destination. You are not going to insult your wife, raise your voice at her, be shouting and be saying no. But see, if there are corrections in love, let her know.
Yeah. Try that one for yourself there. I love it. So there's that. Let's see. Where's the other one? Oh God. Okay. This, I apologize in advance. This is probably the single worst one. This is actually the one I wanted to get to.
Part 4 of what women wish their male partners knew about how female desire works. And it's all about...
Okay, let me tell you this right now. If my wife had the time
already starts with that.
to make a video making tea, and trust me, everything in that background and all this other shit is all staged. Okay, people say, oh, it's AI. I don't think it's AI. Not this one. But this was also on D Christian Life. If your woman has time to make videos like this and talk shit about you and make tea at the same time, it is time to talk to James Sexton. That's all I got.
Initiation. So asking your female partner out of the blue if she wants to be intimate will typically be met by resistance. Not because she doesn't want to, but because for her, it feels like she's expected to go from 0 to 100 immediately.
Which she didn't have any problem doing when she was fucking the hot guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break. Or any of the guys that she met before you who did not have to jump through any of the hoops. Now, when a woman makes rules for you, you are a beta. Women make rules for beta males. They break rules for alpha males. Again, another point in the book. All right. Okay, I'm going to let her finish.
It's jarring. It can feel like pressure. And honestly, it skips over all the conditions that her body actually needs to want to be intimate in the first place. Because
here's what her body needs for her to want to be intimate in the first place. 20-inch guns, a V-taper, serrats, as I've said on many occasions, six-pack abs. And even if you don't have six-pack abs, maybe you got that swimmer's body and you got a four-pack abs like Rollo Tomassi. That'll do too. You got to have the sex lines though. What is it? What is that? What they
Fuck
call
me
them?
lines.
Yeah, fuck me lines. You got fuck me lines. That's pretty good there too. Like the thing is what gets me is like, are there that many Christian men who are like going, baby, it's time for us to get after it, right? Like who's
It's procreation.
could I have a bit of sex, please?
Can I have a crumb?
What the? Might have a crumb. More, please. No, that's not how fucking. Yeah, you know who she doesn't say no to? Justin Baller. Yeah, that's who. It's not about like. So this is what gets me. She's gonna bring up a point that I keep hearing over and over again. I've never heard it in a Christian context. I have heard this come out of the mouth of Coral Osborne though.
As for 85% of women, desire is responsive, which
No, those 85% of women didn't want to get with you in the first place. 85% of women, their sex is responsive. No, it wasn't responsive when they were 22 and they were in college and they were on their journey of self-discovery. Right? Trust me, all of that responsive bullshit is reserved for one kind of guy, the 20% guy. Because what happens is this. Have you ever heard Kyle, have you ever heard the psychological model concept, Dr. Sigmund Freud?
Yes.
There's the id, ego, and the superego. Okay. The id is I want to fuck. I want stuff. It's the hedonist. It's the little child that's inside of you. I want candy. I want sex. I want this. I want it now. Let's go. It's the hedonistic part of like it's the primal carnal side of everything. Then there's the ego, and the ego is there. It's the adult in the room. So, well, remember, we can't have too much sweets because we'll get fat, and we've got to make sure that we get to the gym and and it's the responsible adult in the room. And the superego is it's like the astral projection shit. Okay, well, it's the greater than, right? It's the third person. It's seeing it in the third person. But the two that I want to talk about right now is the ego and the id, because that's really where this comes down to. What happens is when women get to the 29, 30, 31-year-old demographic, the id and the ego fight. Okay, so right up, we always talk about how women aren't accountable, and women don't avoid accountability. You know what they avoid? Consequences. That's what they avoid. Accountability. I really need to be accountable. I think I should be accountable. Blah, blah, blah. They'll agree with you till they're blue in the face. What they try to avoid is consequences, because that's what the id tries to do. It wants pleasure without consequences. Is there a better definition of hedonism? Pleasure without consequences. Put on the condom or take the pill, and you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. Pleasure without consequences. Sugar without the calories, right? It's a Twinkie with no fucking calories. I need diet soda, right? That's no consequence of guilt, right? So what happens is when that woman gets to the point where she's 30 years old and she has to have that conflict between her id and her ego. Okay. So what I don't know that I've ever put it this way or ever really explained it in these terms, at least not in any detail anyways. But there's the id and then there's the ego. And then when a woman gets to be about 30 years old and she says, okay, the ego says, well, id, we have to find a guy who's going to be with us for the long haul. We need a guy who's dependable. We need guys who, we still want to be good looking. And I understand we still want to fuck the hot guy in the foam cannon party, but we got to find a guy with benefits. We got to find a guy who's got his shit together, who's going to make partner in the law firm, who's going to have done his residency. He's going to be a surgeon. We need to think about our babies. We need to think about, future plans and mom wants grandchildren and all this other shit, right? So we got to find something and we got to make a compromise. So there's this conflict between the id, who wants to fuck the hot guy in the foam cannon party from back when she was 21, 22, and she was a co-ed in college and everything. And she had such a crazy time, right? And had her fun, right? The id still wants to have fun. The id wants the guy with the fuck me lines. The id wants the guy who's the helicopter pilot, the surfer. She still wants to fuck the id wants to fuck that guy. But the ego says, those guys don't commit. Those guys aren't ready for the long haul. They're too irresponsible. We need a good Christian man, a godly man of God. We need a guy who reads his Bible every day and prays with the family 7 minutes, right? We need that guy, but that guy's not sexy hot guy in the foam cannon party. That guy's not sexy surfer dude. That guy's not Justin Walsh. That guy's not forthcoming, and we can't lock that guy down. So we've got to make some compromise here. So what do you say? And so there's that conflict. And so after a while, assuming things go according to the ego's plan, they find the guy who's still ignorant enough at that particular time of his life, right around 30, 32 years old. They get married, and she decides on the guy who's Mr. Good Enough, the guy who's not what the id really wanted to get with, because he's not fun, he's not exciting, he's not Jake Cope playing in a fucking rock band, he doesn't have a Harley. He doesn't fly helicopters. He's not Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian, that's what women's id wants. Justin Waller, that's what women's id wants. The ego says, well, we got to find a good baby daddy. He's got to be dependable. He's got to read to the kids. He's got to go to soccer practice. He's got to do homework with them, blah, 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 right? And in time, nothing is sexier. Well, the thing is like the way that ego sells the id on that guy is that, well, maybe there's something we can find sexy about him later. And it's the ego that says, well, maybe if he's good at doing these things and he jumps through all these hoops, then will he be okay? If we make more rules for him, id, will then he be okay? If he passes continuously passes all of our tests all the fucking time, and he has good benefits, and he's still a 6, but he's really a 6.5, and he has the potential to be a 7, and we're just a 6, right? You convince yourself that he's worthwhile. Can then we marry him and lock this guy down because he's ready to go, because he's it's like manna from heaven, just even touching his arm. He's already primed and ready to go, and he's got good prospects, and he's funny, he likes Disneyland and rainbows and everything, wants kids in the future, and likes puppy dogs, right? Can we go with this guy? Well, the way that the ego negotiates with the id for women is it says, well, he's not as exciting, but at least he's dependable. Guess what? I guess I have to convince myself that my sexual response is no longer about genuine desire. It's about negotiated response. It's about responsive sexuality, a responsive desire. No, it's fucking not, because when you were in your 20s, you didn't even know what the fucking term responsive desire was. That wasn't even in your fucking vocabulary, redhead T-girl. But what was hot guy in the foam cannon party, bend me over, ride me to fucking glory over the banister at the hotel room. That's what was in your vocabulary at that time.
Which means she might not know if she's a yes until after she feels safe, connected, relaxed, warmed up.
All of those criteria that she just talked about, every last single one of those is anti-seductive. Trust me, the guy that got her fucking juices flowing did none of that. Absolutely none. In fact, the fact that he didn't do those things is exactly why she got hot for him. She was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. He was in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break. He was the surfer guy who came out of the surf. He's Jason Momoa. his Point Break. He's a dude. Who was in Point Break?
Keanu
Reeves was in Reeves,
yeah.
and then I forget who the other dudes were. Yeah, he was Keanu Reeves in Point Break, right? None of that. Security, familiarity. No. There's a reason why 50 Shades of Grey outsold any fucking book in outsold the fucking Bible when it came out, right? Because none of those factors were in that book. None whatsoever. Familiarity, no. Danger, excitement, uncertainty, urgency, anxiety, competition, dread. You name all the horrible dark triad personality trait attributes you can come up with. All of those are in that book. And you know what? 65 million units in the first year. And by the way, it was from March. I don't even know whole year. It was from March all the way to the following year. It was on a self-published book. Word of mouth, no fucking advertising. Word of mouth between good Christian women too. And you know what? When the movie came out the next year, it probably still is the most downloaded video that YouTube has ever had. Not because of advertising. It wasn't on a billboard on the freeway. It wasn't on the commercial on the TV. It was, Gladys, have you heard of this book, 50 Shades of Grey? Doris, what are you talking about? Ooh, my stars and heavenly days. No, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Stop it. Stop it with this responsive desire bullshit because you're giving these guys false hope. Stop it. Tell them. Tren. Tell them. Start living with 405. Start benching 405. That one girl in the beginning, she had it right. All of them. Holy mother of God. What are you doing to these poor Christian men?
It's not withholding from you. She just genuinely needs some additional support for her body before.
Because it's not turned on. You're not turned on.
She's open to saying yes. So instead of
saying yes, the very fact that you would have to say yes is negotiating desire. Got it? And what do we know? Okay, children, class, this is remedial Red Pill 101. What happens when we negotiate desire? What does negotiated desire lead to? Come on, somebody in the chat. I'm not going to finish it up. Come on. What does negotiated desire? You get a free book if you can give me this one. Trenbolone sandwich. No, good try. Come on. What does negotiated desire always lead to? Not grape charts. God damn it. Come on, people. You're failing me. I'm going to say it. Here it goes. Going once. Going starfish sex. No, well, close. What does negotiated desire always lead to? Obligated compliance. That's what it leads to. That leads to well, the Bible says I'm supposed to spread my legs even duty sex, right? Yeah, exactly. Resentment. Good. Okay. Keep them coming. Yes. No. Divorce. Obligated compliance. Obligated compliance is the kiss of fucking God. I would divorce. I would just. Is that how it works? Okay, I'm done. I have to buy you lingerie? I'm done. I have to. You're not getting it yourself. You're not meeting me at the door with martini and a smile. That's all. Was it? Seduction is beer and show up naked. Right? Why is the guy the one that's initiating? Why is it so so endemic? Why is it so like we're so oblivious to the fact that she's making this video about like how guys are initiating sex? Do you not want to fuck your husband? How do you I would love to ask this chick, how do you initiate sex with your husband? Do you go up, hey, want to fuck? Of course, that means something different when the girl does that, right? Hey, I was thinking about, you working me up to having sex because it doesn't work out. It doesn't work genuine desire, actually, like physical arousal, like me actually being hot for you. Well, I know we're supposed to have sex. So do you think you could initiate with me? So, or start like, I don't know, nibbling on my ear or some shit like that so that we can actually get down to it. Like it's this series of lock picking. And I wrote about this on Twitter not too long ago. When I look at shit like this, let's see, let's let her
trying to change her or taking it personally. Work with her to understand what she might need to be more open.
No, here's what you do. You leave. You exit the marriage. Sorry, we're Christians. We don't divorce. Trust me, Christians definitely divorce. Leave. Life is too fucking short to be involved with a woman who doesn't want to fuck you. And as I was saying before, is like what this amounts to is guys trying to be scientists, guys being locksmiths, right? They're trying to pick her locks. How do I do the combination of getting her panties off? How do I do, like, I got to fit these lock picks into the fucking lock here. And every time you hey, got it. All right, I got it. Then the next time the lock's changed. The lock's completely different, right? And in fact, now not only is the lock's changed, there's an iron gate in front of I figure how do I get around the gate? And then I got and that it's like so that, and I'm only bringing this up because there's so many of these fucking videos. There's so many of them. Let's see, where's the other one? Oh God, This one right here just like fucking baked my lobster here.
This morning I was just straight up rude. I was straight up rude to my husband. He came up behind me while I was trying to kind of frantically get ready for church because we woke up an hour late, and he tried to give me a hug for the second time, and I was like, if you touch me, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's what I said, and I said it kind of rude.
If you done, bye. Have fun at church. Seriously, I'm packing my shit late.
And then he got upset, understandably so, and left the room, and I continued to get ready, and I felt like he should know better. Like, I don't want to be blah, 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 blah. I'm like, he knows I'm stressed for church, yada, 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 yada. And then in my head, I'm like, ugh, the enemy just loves to sow division on a Sunday morning. And then I was like,
he should know better.
It was his fault first. Like, this is Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
His fault first. Then it's the devil's fault. And now, guess what happens after that devil?
girl. Actually, it probably wasn't me. It was probably the Holy Spirit. It was the Holy Spirit convicting me and being like,
Okay, now it's God.
So does your flesh, girl. That wasn't the enemy. That wasn't the enemy. That was you. And it made me think, sometimes I think as Christians, it's so easy to be like, the enemy.
She blames everyone in the universe until she gets to her.
Dude, to the enemy. That was the enemy. And in reality, it was us.
Us.
It kind of let me like pass off my own sin and my own meanness. That's not a word, whatever. My own anger and pride and frustration. I just got to pass it off to the enemy and blame it on him. So yeah, this is my reminder to you. Don't blame the enemy for what your own flesh did. I mean, like, in the end of the day, like, our flesh is also kind of the enemy, yada, yada, yada. You could go on. Yeah. Okay.
Your flesh is definitely not the devil. Anybody notice one thing that was missing from that video? No, not so much not the ring, but like, you notice anything? What was one thing that I noticed it? One noticeably absent in the entire. God damn it!
Perfect.
Wait.
Misogyny.
There you go. Yes. What was missing in all of that? Anybody? Class. Well, the husband, yes, but no. Any apology, any contrition, hey, my bad. Sorry, I had to tell my husband. Sorry, honey, that was me. It wasn't the devil. It wasn't God. It wasn't you. It was me. You would think that would have been included in the video about where she's, mea culpa, right? Accountability. Thank you. Consequences, right? But no, accountability would have been, I guess that would have been included as an apology. Oh, and then I had to go and apologize to my husband for being a bitch to my husband. Does that not seem like the natural progression of you took all of this time in front of your fucking scrambled eggs? Like, hey, you know what? This is so urgent. I've got to do a video right now of me and my scrambled eggs because I just realized this right now. No contrition whatsoever. Completely oblivious to it. Now, do we know that she didn't apologize to her husband later? No, but it wasn't important enough to put in a fucking video in the first place. So I don't want to hear it. People kept saying to me, well, Rollo, we don't know what happened afterwards. I know what happened during. It was important enough for her to like go and yammer on about me. It was me. Even when she's at fault, it's still all about her. Like that? Guys, this is what you get to look forward to in your good Christian marriage. Hey, honey, I just wanted to hug you this morning. Get off of me. Oh, sorry, that was me, but I'm not going to tell you that was me, and I'm not going to give you, I don't have the insight. I have the insight enough to do a video of it and post it on TikTok or whatever the fuck. And hopefully you'll see this, and then you'll know that I was actually feeling bad, but I'm not actually going to tell you I'm sorry. Not in the video, at least anyways. This is why Matt Walsh says, everybody needs to get married. Is this what you're waiting for? Is this the bonus? Is this the benefit that you're getting out of marriage?
Suffrage.
I don't think so. But what I'm saying is is this whole thing is not doing any kind of service. Oh God, this is a good one too.
I want us to pray. I want you to pray for women because they may not have, this is what we're talking about. They don't have a spiritual covering in their home who's taking his rightful place, who's leading the family, who's leading her.
But they also don't have to put.
Okay. One of the things that gets me the most about the whole leadership shit in these videos. Oh, by the way, there's dozens and dozens, hundreds of these fucking videos on this account, right? Very similar to I just picked out the most ones that like kind of jumped out at me. Hundreds of these videos. Okay. None of these, like whenever they start, even when guys start talking, a leader is a leader. Like a leader implies follower. A leader implies responsibility with authority. It implies a leader implies there are subordinates to that leader. A leader leadership in general implies a hierarchy, not 50-50. I do this and she does this. And no, you're here, she's here. That's the hierarchy. If you're going to lead in the family, guess what? You're here by default. She's here by default. That's how it fucking works. If it's not, stop calling it leadership. Call it what it is. Indentured servitude. That's what it is. Start calling it exactly what it is. You are the servant leadership. You're just the best slave on the plantation. You're just the slave that gets to tell the other slaves that how great slavery is.
The house slave.
Yes, you're the house slave. And I didn't say the other word.
Yeah.
But you're the slave that gets to tell all the other slaves how great the plantation. It's great to be on this fucking plantation. That's what you get to do. If you, ladies, if you say, oh, I'm going to allow him to lead in the family, guess what that means? Hierarchy. You're here, he's here. It doesn't matter. Like, this is the thing that gets me the most. And we'll talk about this when I get to Matt Walsh's section here. But whenever I'm talking about leadership, or the women are talking about leadership, whatever it is, yada, yada, they still think it's leadership, but they're the ones that are still in charge. They're the ones that still get to make the decisions. They're the ones that, well, you know, if a woman is making more money in the family, I don't care what your leadership shit is, or your concept of leadership is, right? According to your Bible, if that guy is a trash man and you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, guess what? The trash man leads in the family and you do what he says. He is the one that's driving the truck. He is the one that is the captain of your ship, right? If that's not, and that's the thing that the women will, because it fundamentally, biologically goes against everything that is hardwired into women's psyches. Because women want security. They want a guy, they want to get with a guy who they trust in his leadership. They trust in his vision, a worthy man. That worthy man has to make more money. That worthy man has to be taller. That worthy man has to be more intelligent, more educated, more funny, more attractive, more than she is. And if he is failing in enough of those criteria, I don't care what your holy book says. I don't care how often you pray. That dynamic is still upside down. And you can call it egalitarian, or you can call it 50-50. You can call it equally yoked. That's not what it says. You're not equally yoked. If a man is the leader of the family, if he's the patriarch, you've got to accept patriarchy. That goes without saying. But you also have to accept the fact that you are in a hierarchy, and the husband is at the top of that hierarchy. If you don't, guess what? You're not married. Guess what? You're not in your Christian walk. That's not happening. So when you get into that, like, I'm bringing this up because this is the deal that Matt Walsh thinks that every man on planet Earth ought to get into, because it's the bedrock of Western civilization. And he's not incorrect. It used to be, but it is not anymore. Because we had a dynamic prior to 1965, right before hormonal birth control and the sexual revolution and the empowerment of women. Right before then, that dynamic fundamentally changed. That's why I kept saying that hormonal birth control is a more significant invention, a more significant advent of science than the nuclear fucking bomb, than an atom bomb. Atom bomb does one thing: kills people. You know what hormonal birth control did? fundamentally changed the nature between men and women. That's what it did. And we're still in the middle of this experiment. We're just starting this experiment right now. We've only been doing it for 60, 70 years. That's a blink of an eye in human history. So, okay. Let me get to these real quick. I've got some insights about egalitarianism and the workplace. How can I get them to you? Congrats on the book. You can just email them to me if you'd like. The email address is in the description. It's rtrationalmail@gmail.com, but you can also go down to...
He works in healthcare. He was talking about it in chat earlier.
Oh, okay.
It's really interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. But if you want to send it to me, that's fine. You can just get to me on my email. Everything I improved has decreased the difficulty level in life with women. There will always be someone who will say you shouldn't need to change. It's almost annoying when a Christian says it. Yeah, of course it is, because they use the Bible to back it up. You can't argue against God. And I love it when I say, like, if you've read my fourth book, Religion, you'll understand that's a full chapter. You can't argue against God, right? Meaning that I can go do a debate with Andrew Wilson. I can go do a debate with any of these ortho bros or whatever, and I can back them into an ideological or a statistical factual corner, but I will always lose the argument because God said. That's all. God card. Reverse. Uno. Right? It is. It's a trap card. God. Yeah. That's all. I always lose. I will always lose.
Trump card.
Because and then if I say, well, this Christian said this and this and this, that's not a real Christian. Trump card. Bam. That's all it takes. So you can never actually have a rational, empirical debate when the fundamental premise is based on religion, right? So you cannot, again, this is I'm paraphrasing, but this is a quote from my fourth book, Religion. You cannot prove metaphysical phenomenon with physical evidence, and vice versa. You can't prove a physical phenomenon with metaphysical evidence because there's a barrier between the two, right? But that's exactly what happens every time you try to debate philosophical, religious, spiritual, cosmic. Woo! my inner Cosmo Kramer. Can't argue those questions because it's just crystals.
It's a dichotomy, right?
Tarot cards. It doesn't even have to be the Bible. My magic 8 ball says you're fucking wrong. Yeah. Okay, got that. Let's see. You often say dark triad traits are needed to be a great leader. Yes, they are. Within reason, okay? When you used the example of Vulcans embracing logic, I realized the enemy within where Kirk needed his dark side duplicate in order to be a captain. Yes, because that dark side is risk tolerant. In fact, it's risk embracing, if anything. Yes, you have to be about it. You have to see, the thing that gets me is I always think about this sort of example that Jordan Peterson always uses about, like, you need to be a dangerous man because, if you think dangerous men are dangerous, wait till you see what, pussies can do or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But the thing is like, you need to have a capacity for violence. I'm like, no, it's not just the capacity for violence. It's not a sword in a sheath that never comes out. Nobody gives a flying fuck. It's just ornament. I could kick your ass if I wanted to. Okay, do it. No. I just have the capacity to do it. No, you actually have to take the sword out and fucking behead motherfuckers. There's your clip. You actually have to use your capacity for violence if you want people to respect your capacity for violence, right? Guys, like here's the thing is, like, if I go and I watch, like, I can show you video of John Fitch, MMA fighter, or Jake Shields. I can show you video of them going into the ring and beating the fuck out of guys. I know Jake Shields, just look at his ears, definitely has a capacity for violence, man. That dude has been clobbered, okay? So I know he could kick my ass, right? I have no doubts in my mind. There's no illusions of me kicking his ass, right? But I know that. But, like, if Destiny comes up to me and says, "I can kick your ass, man," no, you could.
I have a capacity for violence.
You've never used it. You know, don't even know it. I don't like if you're a black belt and you back down from a fight, nobody in the room knows that you're actually being magnanimous. Like you're like, I could kill this guy if I wanted to, but I'm not because he's drunk and I would rather get out of him. I'll just leave the situation. Whatever. You look like a pussy. You're a coward for doing that. You're not, but perceptually, everybody in the room thinks you're a coward because you have even if they don't know that you have a capacity for violence. You walked away from the fight. At some point, you have to use that sword. At some point, you have to pull it out. That's why I strongly disagree with Jordan Peterson. It's not just the capacity; it's actually doing it. It's actually having behaviorally fucking with somebody. It's actually going and proving that you have that capacity and having that ability. That's what the dark triad is all about. I don't think we should call dark triad traits dark. Or by the way, there's also the light triad. Is a light triad, or there's a light. The light side, what is it? Personality characteristics. No, it's a big 5 personality. Yeah, so it would be on the big 5. But there's the light ones too. Like this, and you notice that they're always feminine. They're always egalitarian. They're always think of everybody before yourself. Right? It's never selfish. It's the id versus the ego, or the superego, I guess in this case. So, yeah. I don't think we should call them dark triad. I think the only reason we call them dark is because we think of them as being antisocial, but they are definitely necessary parts of our personality if we want to survive. Trust me, if you're in a life or death situation, you're going to be glad you had that dark triad personality trait that kept you alive. There's a reason why those traits have been passed down to where we are, to where we are today. Self-preservation can get pretty fucking dark. Accountability is woman's kryptonite. No. Consequences are woman's kryptonite. I'm going to get Rational Male Reignite, that badass powerhouse gym tank, flex on the haters. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Stopped waiting for women to apologize years ago. Well, yeah, but if they did, wouldn't it be like gold and manna from heaven? If your wife actually did it. I remember when uncle and aunt done a small marriage quarrel next to me, and uncle told me, see, Joe, be prepared for such things if you want to have a wife. Do you think you're really ready? Well, see, those are like funny little, folk wisdom and stuff like that. But then you get to Matt Walsh, who pops off with shit like this. Oh, wait, we got to let her finish. Well, this is too good.
Somebody start chasing them every time they get out of the shower to back up.
Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
Isn't that a weight that you carry?
No, maybe they do. Maybe he's leading her in that way. He might be, because a man is simple, and that's,
What? Sometimes you just want
to
look. Sometimes you just want to take a bath, don't you?
Wow, yippee,
don't you?
Yippee, yes.
Sometimes you just want a bath.
Alone.
Just give me a bath.
Alone.
And sometimes I light you a candle and leave.
Yes.
I do.
Oh, help us, Lord.
Yes, help us, Lord. You need somebody who actually has a dick. That's what you're looking for. Lady, you're looking for someone, a man with a penis. That's what you're looking for. Jesus Christ, man. This is the best you got, Christians. This is the best you can do. Really? The reason I say that is because we need to get to this. Where'd it go? Hold on, not that. This one. Oh my God. Hold on. Before I do that, this was too good. Sorry, I have to. The one last one.
The problem is the game is so rigged to one side that we just don't have the ability to have any bargaining power.
Okay, this is John. I believe his name is John from It's Complicated. He's actually here, a local here in Las Vegas. Good dude. I've met him on several. He's actually been on the show a couple times, on Access Vegas a couple times. Yeah, he's a good dude. He does mostly man on the street kind of stuff, but like he is smart as fuck though.
I think that our bargaining chips have been taken away from us. Our bargaining chip used to be the idea that we were the ones who made the money. But then ever since women got equal employment opportunities in the workforce and they're taking half the jobs now. I mean, you asked this question, if we want men to be providers, are we going to remove equal employment opportunities, which are preventing men from fulfilling the provider roles that we're advocating for? Mm-hmm. So, women want to have their cake and eat it too, while men can't have a cake or even eat one.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at what's going on culturally and within the laws. And I think, we're identifying the symptoms, but we're not looking at the root cause, what's causing these things.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that I got that in before we get to Matt Walsh, because that's going to be a really important point with Matt Walsh's video here. All right.
Menurut saya, pernikahan bisa berhasil, tentu saja, hanya saja.
I got the Mexican version. Hang on. The Mexican version.
The Portuguese.
Got the Portuguese version. Hold on. I'll just stream it. Hang on. I knew that was going to happen. I got the other one perfect. I didn't get that one perfect. Let's see. Where'd it go? This actually isn't that long of a thing. You know, the thing that gets me about Matt Walsh is he never does lives. It's always pre-records. I would have way more respect for you, Matt, if you actually did like live videos, because then you'd actually have to think on your fucking feet, man.
Off the dome.
Yes. Okay. Oh, did I not hit the?
Yeah, you didn't share.
Hold on. Oh, I didn't share it. Hang on. There we go. I was doing it as a video and not as a screen share. There we go. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, good enough. This is kind of fucked up, actually. Now, I'm going to give you the preview here. Matt either has amnesia or he needs to fire his production team.
Marriage is like the lottery. Probably not going to win.
I've spent a lot of time in my career defending the institution of marriage, and I defend it because it's the bedrock of civilization, so it deserves defending, and I defend it because it's under constant attack, so it needs defending. And one of the most troubling developments in recent years, which we've discussed on this show in the past, is that these attacks are increasingly waged not just from the left, but from certain noisy segments of the right as well. Some right-wing influencers with legions of young, mostly male fans have decided that men should abandon marriage and family life and go their own way. And these influencers, many of whom consider themselves a part of the so-called red pill movement, pretend to despise feminists and yet have essentially arrived at the same conclusion as feminists, which is that we should give up on the family.
No, actually, it's tradcons who have become the new feminists, not actually the red pill guys. Okay. And I'll explain that to you in just a minute.
The two sides hate marriage almost as much as they hate each other. Now, one of these influencers is a woman named Pearl Davis, who is
I've never heard of this.
Pearl
Davis. Pearl Davis. I've never heard of her before.
Garnered a relatively large following on YouTube and various social media platforms.
You know who Pearl Davis is. Cut the shit, man. Cut the shit.
She's in her mid-20s, single and childless, and yet full of opinions about modern marriage and family life, a subject.
Yeah, you've said this at least on 4 different videos that I can think of.
That she has no personal insight into whatsoever. She spent the past few days on the internet complaining about quote-unquote tradcons like myself, who she says promote the nuclear family despite not understanding what it's really like.
Did you catch that? Complaining. Complaining is really the buzz term for especially the right-wing guys or for tradcons. Complain. Those red pill guys are always complaining. No, we are giving you stats and data that you don't want to process. We are asking questions that you don't have an answer for. You don't want to answer. You know the answers, but you don't want to answer. And so therefore, the very fact that anybody would bring up those things or present those facts or those figures or that data set or whatever else means you're complaining. Stop complaining about your conditions. You're the one that's in power. You're actually the ones that are in control. We're the ones that are oppressed. Why are you complaining? You have all the power. That's what when somebody jumps to complaining, that's what they mean. You're complaining. Complaining about what? About my condition. I'm not complaining about anything. I'm giving you data right here. What do you think about this data?
Stop complaining.
That's an emotional reframe. Complaining is exactly the same as who hurt you.
Yes, we men who actually have wives and children don't know what it's like to be married, but a woman who is not married and has no children does know what it's like.
Well, Matt, I hate to break the news to you. I've been married longer than you. Coming up on 30 years in July. Hey. Thank you very much. And everybody's either too happy or too pissed off about that. So the guys who are too happy that I'm worried about. Yes, Matt, those red pill guys. There's actually one red pill guy who's been married longer than you and has, well, I have one kid. Sorry, I don't have, so I lose, I guess. I didn't have 6. How many daddy cool points do you get per kid?
In one of her tweets, she wrote, quote, "The tradcons push marriage because they aren't old enough to know better. They don't know the reality of what they're pushing." This is accompanied by a picture of myself, Ben Shapiro, and Michael Knowles. We aren't old enough to know better and don't know the reality of what we're pushing, yet a woman who is younger than us and single does know better and does understand this reality.
Okay, Matt, I will give you a point. She is stupid. You're right. She is dumb as a fucking bag of fucking hammers. You are correct. She is 20. She has no business talking about anything like this. Doesn't have any frame of reference. She has no leg to stand up. But you know who does? This guy.
Book plug.
This guy. There you go.
Oh, those guys are facts.
Shameless play.
Another post, she goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men. And she later explains, quote, "Would you ever sign a contract that fails 75% of the time where your business..."
Okay, stop. Keep it up here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pearl, just, you know I hate you, but like still, I feel bad because I have to clean up your mess anyways. I know where you got this from. You got this from some MGTOW. You got this from some black pill doomer guy. Stop before you hurt yourself. Let somebody who knows how to fucking deliver this. Don't let Glenn Lawrence you copy and paste to your fucking Twitter. Don't let anybody else put words in your mouth. Come up with your own shit. Stop copy and pasting, because when you do, that's what Matt Walsh pays attention to.
Business partner is paid to break the contract. Why would you encourage men to sign that contract until the terms are fixed? Now, you may be surprised to learn that marriages fail at a rate of 75%. The figure that people like this normally use is 50%. And the claim that 50% of marriages end in divorce is already spurious, and we'll have more on that in a moment. But
really? Are you sure about that, Matt? Are you 100% sure that it is 50% or it's not 50%?
75%?
Because I think you know.
I was wondering where that number came from, so I scrolled down and I saw something that she reposted from an alleged lawyer who said this, quote, "It's not..."
An alleged lawyer. An alleged lawyer.
Not 50-50. That only accounts for divorces. Another 25% on the negative side for miserable men trapped in cheaper to keep her marriages, unwilling to risk financial destruction and loss of their children. 75% chance of a devastatingly bad outcome is just a bad plan. Okay, this is why you don't let Pearl Davis quote stats, because you'll just get fucking run up the flat. Pearl Davis's only purpose in the manosphere is to make it look bad. And here's example number 485. Right? Shall we keep going? Person would enter into a commercial contract on such terms. Now, I did ask him where he got this 75% figure from, and he wouldn't say.
Okay, well, the figure is this. He's figuring that 50% of marriages fail, okay, which is not technically true. And then another 25% of marriages are miserable. Where is he getting that stat? I'll tell you, Matt, because 25% of marriages today are sexless marriages. I've got the stat. I can pull that stat up right now if you'd like. Ergo, your wonderful Christian marriage, like where everybody is trying to figure out how to fucking pick the locks and the iron gate and I don't know, make tea and figure out what responsive desire is versus I want to fuck you desire. Chore play, all that other stuff. It's kind of miserable, man. It's kind of miserable. Like the chicks that are on Christian lifestyle or whatever the fuck, all those videos that I keep showing over and over again right here from women trying to tell men, here's what you got to do. You got to do it this way. You got to do that. You jump through these hoops. Last week, I showed you those videos of those couples who were trying to figure out, why she wasn't into it or how the guy feels. They're having open communication and she's apologizing for it, but it sounds like a script and everything else. That shit kind of sounds miserable, man. It really does.
Apparently, the magic statistic fairy came and whispered it in his ear. Now, for her part, Pearl later tweeted a picture of Pierce Brosnan with his wife of 20 years, and she questioned whether the marriage counts as successful since Brosnan's wife has put on some weight at the age of 60. So apparently, even if they're happy and have...
I'd like to state for the record, Your Honor, that my wife has never put on weight and certainly doesn't look like that in our late 50s. There we go.
Remain married for 2 decades, they still might fall into that 75% failure rate because they have not both remained in supermodel condition into their 60s.
Let me state for the record, Your Honor, that both my wife and I have stayed in supermodel condition.
the Zoolander face.
Somebody make a gif out of this. Supermodel, because I'm really, really, really ridiculously good looking. Buy it today.
This debate on social media brought out the rest of the marriage skeptical crowd on the right. A bunch of these red pill influencers decided to hop on an emergency Zoom call and spend 2 hours talking about me and the rest of the Daily Wire crew and our...
No, they didn't. You are lying, Matt. This is where Matt lies. This is you lying. I am calling you out, Matt. You are a liar.
Reckless promotion of society's most fundamental institution. Now, there's one clip here that you should see. This is apparently a divorce lawyer.
Apparently,
this is apparently a divorce lawyer. I can't believe
says
it.
that the failure rate for marriage is not 50% and it's not 75%. It is, in fact, even higher. Listen.
I think marriage can be successful, of course. It's just not something that's as scalable as we as a society are trying to pretend it is. Marriage is, and I've said this 100 times and I'll say it 100 more, marriage is like the lottery. You are probably not going to win. Okay? You're probably not going to win. Don't make that your 401k. You're probably not going to win. But if you win, what you win is so great that I don't blame you for buying a ticket and trying. I personally don't buy lottery tickets. But when somebody says, yeah, I played a lottery, hey man, somebody's got to win. And you know what? As long as you're not blowing money that you need for food or to put shoes on your kids' feet, you're not hurting any.
This is the look on my face that when I know the fucking punch is coming. The punch is fucking coming. You know it. You see it. Everyone sees it. It's rope-a-dope time.
Buddy, go out, give it a try. So I always tell people, listen, marriage, when it works, when you have somebody who's married 20 plus years and they're still crazy about each other, that is the exception, not the rule. But
oh my goodness, wait a minute. Stop that. Who is this? Wait, did this just happen without my... No, wait, what? I'm in here. Who is that handsome motherfucker at the top left there? Oh, that's Rollo Tomassi. My goodness. And Jack Napier and Ryan Stone. And look, it's James J. I don't know his name. James J. JJ Sexton. JJ Sexton. Yeah. And then we got Fitch, and then we got that ugly motherfucker, and then we've got come on my podcast, Paul, and then we got Red Pill Thor. Red Pill Thor was resurrected from the dead to come and do this brand new, just happened yesterday. Oh, and then Troy Francis. Oh my God, this kind of it's funny. Okay, I'm going to stop being facetious here for 1 second. Okay, Matt, this is like from a very fucking long time. No, I can tell you when this was. This was from September or October of 2023, because I did my first podcast with Jim Sexton when I was in Lake Tahoe in August of 2023. I know because I was doing live streams from the rental property that I had in Tahoe because my daughter had just got married and I was still there.
That's when Miguel was going to go.
Yeah, and Miguel was going to come up and see us, right? And then afterwards, like I think it was in September, the next, because I was still with Rule 0. This is Rule 0, by the way. I haven't been on Rule 0 for almost 2 years now. And so Matt, this didn't happen just yesterday. That's number one. Two, it didn't happen yesterday because that guy, that alleged lawyer, is the guy you had on your fucking show in March of 2024. Okay, let's let him continue because I want him to just like be fully invested here.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So why not buy the ticket, take the ride, but have a prenup? Wear a seatbelt, guys. You can be a safe driver, but wear a seatbelt.
So a happy marriage, he says, is like winning the lottery. And the thing about the lottery is that almost everybody.
Does that sound familiar? Because it's almost verbatim what he told you sitting across the table from you in March of 2024.
Loses. This is a perfect summation of how this entire club views marriage and the message that they're sending to young men in particular. Sure, it can be great. They can
fire your production staff.
Succeed, but only if you're insanely lucky. Everybody else is screwed. This is a rather bleak view of marriage, and thankfully, it's also nonsense.
Okay.
First of all, the claim that marriage isn't scalable is obviously ridiculous because marriage has served as the bedrock of human society since time immemorial.
That doesn't mean it's not scalable or isn't not scalable now. Yes, continue.
It has already happened at the scale of civilization for thousands of years.
Right up until the sexual revolution and the advent of hormonal birth control. Continue.
Now, the divorce lawyers come along and say that, this thing that society's been doing forever, turns out it doesn't work.
I was going to say, I had to do a double when I saw this. It came up and it's like, this was 3 hours ago. Because I saw this. This is not even a day old, or like maybe 2 days old now. When I first saw this, I'm like, is this old? Like I had to go back and say, is this like this is something that just popped up in my feed that's like, hey, maybe you'd like to watch this again, right? No, this just fucking came out. This is part of one of his longer shows as a clip. And I'm like, because I honest to God thought that maybe this was like from a long time ago, right? No.
Unless you're the one in a million. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous claim.
Okay.
Now, what about the failure rate of marriages in our culture? We've heard 50%, we've heard 75%. We just heard that they fail at a rate similar to the rate that people lose the lottery, which would mean higher than 99%, a lot higher.
Don't spurg out on that, please. Even 75% Pearl is fucking stupid. Okay. It's not, but we'll let them continue.
Yet, these kinds of astronomical odds are not based in anything but the doom and gloom speculations of the people inventing them.
Are they?
There is no evidence that having a happy marriage is as unlikely as winning the lottery, or that 75% of marriages end in misery. And what about the 50% number? Well, this is at least is a familiar statistic. It's something that you probably heard before. 50% of marriages end in divorce. It's familiar, but it is bogus.
Are we sure?
One way you know that it's bogus is that people have been claiming that 50% of marriages end in divorce since I was a kid. I've been hearing.
How about since March of 2024?
Hearing that my whole life. And that would mean that divorce rates are static across time. But of course, that isn't the case. In fact, we know that divorce rates have gone down in recent years. So where does the 50%
in the last year
figure come from? Apparently, it's a holdover from the 1980s, which is when people first started citing that statistic. It's not true today. And it's
okay. Let's stop it right there for one second. Oh, let me let him finish. Hold on, really quick, because it's almost over.
It's actually not clear that it was true even in the 80s either. So what is the actual divorce rate?
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to determine. Probably our best guess is based on U.S. Census data, which according to the most recent figures, says that about 35% of American adults who have been married have been divorced. So it's not
have been married, have been divorced. Okay. Okay, so that's in aggregate. That's like all demographics, all previously divorced people, plus all of the first-time marriages?
Exactly. Going to give us a precisely scientific figure of what the divorce rate is.
Well, you better hope not.
And
I don't see you citing any of those sources like I'm about to do.
It's as close as we're going to get, 35%. And 35% is high. I mean, it's way too high.
Are you sure about that? Now let's hold on. Okay. Anybody else getting like deja vu? Because that's what I was getting. I was getting deja vu when I saw all this. Okay. And here's why he's full of shit. Okay. Now this one I do have actually queued up. So So Matt, I'm trying to help. God knows I'm trying to help you here. Okay. Fire your production team. I want to believe that this is not your fault. I want to believe this is the new production team or whoever you have working for you that makes these decisions, writes these fucking scripts and does all these clips. Or maybe this was you and you have like, what is it? Prefrontal, mid-grade, amnesia. Maybe you need brain surgery. Maybe did you get hit in the head recently? Because you already know this shit and you already know who that fucking apparently I'm a divorce lawyer. You mean this guy right here?
And I asked this because I don't know. You mentioned the 50% divorce statistic. It seems like it's really difficult to get actual statistics on this. And is the 50% accurate from your?
Yeah, 50%. I mean, it's the reason why I'm sticky with this is that when they talk about the divorce rate being over 50%, they're including people who are married multiple times. And when you're married more than once, like second time, third time, the statistics get worse each one. So the divorce rate in subsequent marriages is higher than the divorce rate for first-time married people. So when you put all of those together in one category, it skews it upwards. But some of this is just a bunch of people really bad at marriage who keep getting married over and over. I had one guy that did 4 out of his 5 divorces and 3 of his prenups. And he just kept getting married, And I wanted to say to him, I appreciate the sort of annuity that's coming with this, but you're just bad at being married. Don't be married. You're not good at it, But again, he kept trying. It's the triumph of faith over reason, I guess. But I think the statistics are tricky. The other problem is the people who stay married but legally separate, guy goes out for milk and never comes back. And they don't actually divorce because the statistics are compiled based on what's called a certificate of dissolution of marriage, which is you file with the state when you finalize a divorce. There's a lot of people that even don't go about getting divorced. They just split. They just move out and that's it. And then there's people that stay together and are pretty miserable, but they never get divorced. So the lowest that the statistic is ever quoted as being for first-time marriage failure is 43%, which is still really bad. To put it in perspective,
43%. That is not 35%. In fact, Sexton is even probably a little bit off on this because I got other stats that show a little slightly different. Okay. He's not wrong, but let's let Jim's almost done here. This is too good not to do the whole thing.
Toyota had a car that had 0.0001% of the cars. There was a problem with the brake line. They recalled all the cars. And they said it's going to cost us millions and millions of dollars, but that is too high of a risk. Think about even if it's 40%, that's a giant number of people with a giant amount of misery. It's a really profound thing to get divorced.
I think that's, even 40% obviously is way, way, way too high. The only,
I'm sorry.
The stipulation.
I'm sorry, what? Even 40% is way, way, way too high. Now, okay,
I always like to make is that, let's say the divorce rate is 40%. It doesn't follow necessarily that your individual risk of getting divorced is 40%.
Absolutely.
Because there are things that you can do.
No, but aggregated, the mean, I know math is hard. It really is hard. But the aggregated mean average is still 43%. At least according to what Jim was talking about there. Now I'm going to pull this out really quick here. So I want to let me wax poetic here for a moment. Walsh, Did you get amnesia? Did you have brain injury? Did you knock your head against something recently? This is James JJ Sexton, who sat across from you in your own I'm sorry, I'm not going to swear because I want this to be the clip. Who sat across from you in your own studio and told you exactly what those stats are. Did that slip your mind? Did you think people wouldn't notice? Are you using a new production team who was unfamiliar with your previous interview and gave you a script to read from? You do read from a teleprompter, right? Who gave you this as is it a slow news week? It seems to me like every time there's nothing going on during the week, it's like, you know what are we going to do this week? I don't know. Red pill. Hey, good idea. Let's go fuck with the red pill guys again, right?
For being pre-recorded, you think they'd have some due diligence.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I knew about this, of course, is because I had to go live this shit courtesy of, Glenn Lawrence and Pearl Davis back in the day. Okay. And the reason why is because I was asked to by Matt Walsh's wife and Matt Walsh's production crew at the time. And now this was when I was moving from Reno down to Las Vegas. And I got an email that said, hey, Rollo, would you like to be on the Matt Walsh show? We would like to get you and Pearl and Jim Sexton, and we want you to do a debate against Michael Knowles, against Joe Walsh, Matt Walsh, right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is great. But the first thing I did was I instantly fired back an email, said, yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. I would even put up with Pearl if I was going to be able to do that with Matt Walsh, right? I get an email back, like not even like 5 minutes later was my reply. And it was like, oh, we've already filled your slot. I'm like, filled my slot with who? So I called, because they don't know how tight I am with Jim, right? So I called Jim and I said, he's like, yeah, are you going to do it? And I go, I guess not, because like he was under the impression, he said yes, under the impression that I was going to be there too. And so and then I come to find out that this was all a fucking shtick. This was Pearl Davis using my name to get Jim Sexton on the same bill as herself. I have email intercepts to prove that if you'd like. In fact, I'll dig them up and show you here in just a moment. It was her original idea to have Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, herself, and Jim Sexton on there because she's just trying to amplify her signal and sort of legitimize herself. Unfortunately, I was there, or I should say fortunately, I was able to talk to Jim and say, like, she's fucking using us, and he didn't want to have anything to do with that whole thing. But he did get the thing going he did this interview with Matt Walsh by himself, right? And then, of course, Pearl and Glenn from Off in the Wings decided to do some half-baked idea of a debate with Michael Knowles, who promptly destroyed fucking Pearl and that thing. Now, this is all back. This is water in the bridge as far as I'm concerned. But all of this shit went on during March of 2024 when I was making the move, right? And that's how I know that this interview took place. And I watched it with I watched the whole damn thing. Because he drops my name in the very beginning of this. I'm like, fuck, great, thanks, Jim. Right. And that's how I knew this was going on. And I'm like, now here you are, once again, Matt Walsh, getting tooled. Like nobody wins in this. Everybody looks like a fucking idiot, including myself, right? Pearl drops some bullshit stats, is there just to agitate once again and give you free fucking content. And then there is you using old Rule Zero videos from October of 2023, when Jim Sexton was just on his way up. That was in his come up stage right there. He had just done, I think he did Lex Friedman, and he did Soft White Underbelly. Those were the first two interviews that he did. And then he did my show as well, who, by the way, Pearl wanted to get through me. And I said, go fuck yourself. And I'll still say, go fuck yourself. But that was a Rule Zero. That was a Rule Zero show that he was on. That was the first time we had him on Rule Zero. We also, by the way, production staff guys, you might want to go look up the one where it's like me and Mike Sartain and Ryan Stone and Jim Sexton and Andrew Wilson. That's a really good one too. Maybe you could use that one for the next clusterfuck of a video that you can put together. You guys just are looking for agitating content. That's all you're doing. And I wanted to point this out because this is part of a greater whole. Okay. This is what's called an ecosystem. This whole thing is an ecosystem. Okay. I thought about this recently, and I was just talking to Kyle about this off air. And if you look at certain personalities, Matt Walsh being one of them, that's an easy one. Pearl Davis, Andrew Wilson's a really great one. Not to pick on Andrew, I like Andrew quite a bit. This is not a flame on Andrew, but Andrew Wilson, whenever he does or he gives the time of day or gives oxygen to Destiny, he has to. Destiny's not going to change. His whole fucking story is the same. It never is different. Destiny always has to exaggerate. He always has to escalate. Same thing with Hassan Piker when he was shocking his dog on those like, don't put me in the same room as that guy. Seriously. Shocking his fucking dog with a shock collar. They found out that, that whole thing, that's an ecosystem. He has to do that. He has to do that because he has to get this much higher above Destiny in the I suck, I'm a deplorable, atrocious shit stain of a human being. Oh, how can I be more of a shit stain? I'm going to shock my fucking dog. What's next? Are you going to film your wife's abortion or something is that going to be the next one? Like what's the next step in the escalation? Well, the answer to that is like, this is part of the ecosystem. And I thought about this and it's like, I was looking at these, like I was talking about this with Brett Cooper and some of these other ones, like these people never respond to you. I'm never going to get the call from Matt Walsh. I'm never going to get the call from any of these guys who claim to want to talk about like, open discourse and freedom of speech and all this open debate and all this. Fuck you. Horse shit. The gate is here. I'm never getting past the gate. I know I'm never getting past the gate. You know why? Because I'm not part of your ecosystem. Destiny is part of your ecosystem. That's why, and I love Myron Gaines, but that's why Myron Gaines and Andrew Wilson and the rest of these guys keep giving Destiny oxygen because they need that for their ecosystem. They need that guy. They need that. And if it wasn't Destiny, it'd be somebody else. We're welcoming Sneeko back into the fucking fold again, too, because he got unbanned from YouTube. Why? He's part of the fucking ecosystem. He's there to generate clicks. He's there to generate that much more, right? That's why. Even Fresh is saying, I'm done with Sneeko. Fuck this guy. Welcome. Okay, let the fucking orcs right back in Orthanc, right? Let the orcs back into the castle. That's all that's going on. It's the same. And by the way, I'm not harping on anybody. I love these guys. And this is not low key hate. Don't give me this bullshit. But I'm just saying this is part of that ecosystem. I have an ecosystem too, right? Same thing with Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has an ecosystem. Pearl Davis is part of his ecosystem. If she doesn't exist, he doesn't get to do these videos and make big fucking fat idiot obvious mistakes like he's making right here. Dude, James Sexton sat across the fucking table from you. Say his, where is it fucking?
Say my name.
Say his fucking name. Say James fucking Sexton. You talk to the dude. He's on your fucking, it is one of your most best watched videos. I looked up the video, look at the video count. It's 966,000 views. And it's probably going to go more because I just did this fucking video. You're welcome. I just helped your ecosystem out a little, boosted it up a little bit more. What the fuck, man? You're this side of 1 million views on that. You think nobody's going to fucking notice that? Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's some amateur night bullshit. Fire your production team today. Because if you didn't make this mistake, they certainly did. And if I'm seeing it, I know there's a lot of people seeing it now. And I will call your ass out on that. You know damn well that the stat's not 35%. And I'm about to show you why it's not 35% here. Because it was told to you not even 18 months ago, not even a year and a half ago, right? Where's the share screen? There you go. Now this is where most I think it was James, take me out or minimize me a little bit. You can even take me out if you want. There you go. So this is the research. This is from Forbes. This is where a lot of the stats that Jim uses comes from. This is Forbes magazine. Okay. Now this is this is updated. Wow. It's published in October 6, 2025. I'm usually looking for the ones that the last one I saw was 2024. So a new divorce pattern amongst adults 50 to 64 years old. I'm trying to look for the other ones. Where are they at? Sickness and health. Okay, that's not actually the one I was looking for. Hang on one second. I think this is it. Damn it. Here we go. This is the one from, I think this is the one. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. At the outset, it's important to the famous statistic that half of all marriages end in divorce. According to Forbes, although it is pretty close, the truth is is that less than half of marriages end in divorce in the United States in 2024. It is 43%. You got it right here. Okay, that's 43% of marriages end in divorce. Okay, this is not hard to do. I just did this in like 10, like not even a minute, right? 10% difference from the 50%. Okay, well, no, it's actually 7%, but that's fine. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find the four. Oh, there it is. Is it this? I think this is. Why don't they give you the fucking actual link here? There. I think that's it. 2025. Okay, so only 43% are dissolved. Now, here's the other part right here. How many marriages end in divorce? So what about the famous statistic, yada, yada? 43% which are dissolved. That's first marriages. Okay, second and third marriages fail at far higher rates. 60 for second marriages and 73 for third marriages. Now, if you take all of those together and average those, average that for me, 43, 60, and 73. And let me know what the mean average is between all of those, because that's usually what people are quoting because they're taking a full aggregate of divorces. And remember what Jim Sexton said in that video with Matt Walsh is that what the Census Bureau is doing and what stat keepers are doing is they're taking it in aggregate. You know how to do it. Come on. So they're taking that in aggregate because remember what Jim said is that they're taking the divorce statistics that are filed. Okay, so they're actually like whatever the paperwork was, the writ of divorce that they record.
It should be around 58%.
58.
If we round up 59.
59. Okay, let's just we'll round out. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Aggregate 58% of marriages end in divorce. First, second, and third. That's the rate. Okay, so that's the total rate. What about the first marriages? You're batting better than you would. Second marriages, you're at 60%. So the mean average is 58%. Okay. So you got that. When do couples divorce? Usually anywhere, let's see, in fact, the average length of marriage prior to divorce is 8 years. That's the average duration of a marriage that lasts with a divorce. Okay. How long does divorce take? And how does it cost? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I would suggest anybody wants to check this stuff out. These are the divorce rates right here. You can see the divorce rates are coming down, but you also have to remember that we are at the lowest marriage rates in recorded history. We're only at 6.1 per 1,000 people, okay? So yes, are divorce rates declining? Of course they are, because the marriage rate is declining. Less people getting married, less people get divorced. It's simple fucking math, and I really wish these idiots would fucking wrap their heads around it. 40% of new marriages include a partner who is remarrying. So of the marriages, 40% are men, usually men, because men have a higher incidence of remarriage. Okay. So now you got most marriages, 60% are first marriages for both partners, but as many as 20% of unions involve one person who has been married before, while another 20% are repeat marriages for both partners. Wow. Okay, so you got to remember that if you're in that 40%, you have a 60% likelihood of your marriage ending in divorce, because we know that 60% of second marriages end in divorce. These are the numbers. This is from Forbes. This is from stats that they either hold, or these are from the, CDC. There you go. Divorcees are more likely to die earlier than married people. Yes, because we know that men will take their lives at 9 times the rate of the average, which is 4 times the rate of women in the first place, right? So, majority of divorces divorces own their homes, divorcees. Couples who live together before marriage are more likely to divorce than not so. Hey, there you go. You got one win on the table there, Matt. Anyways, so them's the stats. If you want more of those, I'll be happy to put that in the chat for you guys. So there you have it. So Matt, what's the deal, Matt? Like, you know who this person is. And then here's the other thing is like, you're dredging up an old Rule 0 video with some.
I'm gonna find the date. I'm gonna find it.
So yeah, please do. Some divorce attorney who we don't know who he is. Dude, do you have amnesia? I can't even blame it on your production staff, because you should know better. Hey, isn't that Jim? Didn't I have him on the show? You should did you get hit in the head? Did something happen? Did you knock your head against something? Just blows me away. But again, once again, this is the ecosystem. This is Matt Walsh's ecosystem. He's hoping you'll forget. He doesn't have amnesia. He's hoping you have amnesia. Let's see. Oh, let me bring this one up here. I gotta share that. There we go.
It's not 50% though, and it's not 75%, and it's not 99%.
Okay, we've already established what it is. Okay, so yammer on, please.
And it's definitely not lottery odds. Still, isn't it terrifying to think that if you get married, your chance of failure is 35%, and the chance of success is only 65% at the most?
Stop lying. You know what the stats are. You had a lawyer guy sitting across the table from you. You are lying right now. This is a lie.
You know, even if we go with that number, isn't that still very, very scary? Isn't it high enough that it should dissuade anyone from attempting it?
Well, 58% in aggregate, sure as shit should. Now, first of all, the marriage rate, like I said, is at an all-time low. So you would think that if it was such a great deal, people would be lining up around the courthouse to say their vows. They're not. So I think when you're talking about marriage and you're talking about divorce and talking about the relationship between those two, that's the thing that gets me is it's like, he thinks that men in general, because we're never going to talk about women in this whole equation, right? But he thinks that men in general are too scared. I'm scared of divorce. I'm scared. Matt, 43% of men get divorced. So I'm going to lose half my shit. He thinks that's what's preventing men from getting. No, you know what's preventing them from getting married? Listening to the redhead bitch with a tea in her, with the fucking tea bags going, well, 85% of girls are really about responsive desire. That's what they're holding up. That's what they don't want to get involved with. They don't want to be that guy who says, yeah, I run the house, I run the dishwasher, I run the laundry machine, I do all this. Yeah, Steve Harvey, that's who I was talking about. They don't want to turn into Steve Harvey. They're not worried about losing half their shit. They don't have half their shit. They don't have anything to really fucking lose. Most guys would probably love to get into marriage if it meant they were going to get fucked every day, if it meant that they were going to have a woman who's going to give them, any kind of uplifting comment or touch them on the arm or whatever that poor Texan guy's, thing was with Gretchen giving him some positive affirmation once in a while. He gets more positive affirmation from people who are doing book signings than he does from his wife. They don't want to sign up for that. They don't want to sign up for teabag redhead bitch girl. They don't want to sign up for the chick who's like contemplating whether it was her husband, it was the devil, it was God, or it was herself that turned her into a bitch because she was late for fucking church while she's sitting there scarfing down fucking scrambled eggs. That's what they don't want to get involved in. It's not about divorce rates, and they're not shaking in their fucking boots about that. Pearl Davis might, because Pearl Davis is a fucking idiot, and she's just there to make everybody else look bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, point blank, that's not why guys aren't getting married, and that's sure as shit not why women aren't getting married either, because it takes two people to get married in the first place. The chick has to say yes. She doesn't want to say yes because women are fucking entitled. They believe that they are entitled to, where'd it go? Hold on. They believe they're entitled to the guys on the sexual freedom side.
They're all looking for 7, 8s, 9s, 10s, and 11s, whatever the fuck that is, right? That's what they're looking for. That's what they're entitled to. Guys don't want to sign up for that. It's not even about worrying about losing half your shit. We're going to sit here and harp on and cry about, oh, men aren't going to college. Men aren't making enough money. Men ain't shit. Men need to do better. That's basically all of these, every single video that's on that de-Christian life on Twitter. Every single one, every man has to do better. Do better, motherfucker. That's what it is. Do better. Every Father's Day, the sermon is the same. Do better. Oh, women are divine. They're the next closest thing to the Lord, and they take care of the little babies, and they're nurturing and kind and blah, 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 blah. Men, Father's Day, do better. You suck. That's what it is. You suck. Do better. You want to get pussy? Do better. You want to get pussy? Go get a better job. Make more money than your wife. Stop playing video games. Doing all whatever the fuck Charlie Kirk was fucking yammering on about. Do better. How about this? How about be less entitled? How about worry about consequences? How about have some accountability? How about where's the do better for women? Nowhere. How about learn insight? How about understand that poor Tex needs fucking positive affirmation from Gretchen? How about we stop jerking ourselves off about like responsive desire, which is just fucking cope for I don't want to fuck him. He doesn't turn me on. That's the id and the ego. Remember that conflict between those two? That's the id going, I don't have to fuck him. Why would I want to fuck him? I'm just going to sit here and sit in my bathtub remember the bath girl? Yeah. I'm going to sit here in my bathtub because sometimes a girl just wants to take a bath and she doesn't want to have a hard dick shoved in her face because it's cookie time for good boy. That's what they don't want to sign up for, Matt. They're not worried about losing half their shit. They're certainly not worried about that. That's not what they're getting prenups for. Do you think they should get prenups? Maybe that would change things. No, it wouldn't. Because they have got nothing to prenup. There's nothing to prenup. They don't want to get involved in a headache. They don't like Pearl just basically parrots back all the bullshit she's heard from. I shouldn't say bullshit, but the stats and everything that she hears from like Turd Flinging Monkey. The stats she was quoting about like why would you agree to become a partner in a company where your partner is rewarded for leaving the company, like with no reason, like what faultless, was it a no fault exit plan and gets paid your future wages? Why? Who is going to do that? And if you put it in the terms of it being a business arrangement, then nobody would do it. I look at it this way: it's like, we live in Vegas and the casinos are right behind me. Have you ever heard this? Have you heard this before? The house always wins.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're talking about, Matt. They're talking about how the house always wins. It is rigged. The system is rigged. So even in the best case scenario, she's not going to leave you. She's just not going to fuck you because you need to do better. Why am I going to, who's signing up for this shit? I love how they, and I'm just reading what Brad Wilcox or whatever the fuck this guy's name is about, like, oh, well, women who are married are happier. Oh, fucking good for them. But how do you quantify? They find more meaning in life. Like, how do you quantify meaning? How do you quantify happiness? It's bullshit because we already know that you're never going to be happy. You do happy. But the fact that he's perpetuating this myth is even more dangerous than the myth itself. So when we're talking about happiness, or you're going to live a better life, they're selling you something. And what are they selling you? They're selling you their ideology. Get back on the plantation. You're going to be a servant leader on the plantation. We got this great position for you on the plantation. You're not just a servant. You're a servant leader. You get to pretend that you're actually leading the slaves. You get to pretend that you are the best slave on the plantation. And you don't get any pussy because you haven't figured out how to pick the fucking lock. That's what they don't want to sign up for, Matt. It's not just about divorce statistics. It's not worrying about losing half your shit. It's not about failure rates of marriages. It's the marriages themselves. It's the quality of that marriage themselves. They're signing up for a bad fucking deal. And this is coming from a guy who has been married successfully and happily. Thank God for the red pill. Thank God for this book. Thank God for an awareness of men's nature, a realistic, pragmatic understanding of men's nature, women's nature, and the confluence of the two of them together. Thank God for that. I attribute a good, if not all proportion. And there's a lot that contributes to a good marriage. Don't get me wrong. You want me to tell you about how to have a good marriage? I'll be happy to do that. How it works for me. I can't tell you how it'll work for you. But I will say this, all those red pill guys who are so anti-marriage and everything, I am not anti-marriage. I have never, ever been anti-marriage. I will tell you what those statistics are, black and white terms, because I will not lie to you like he's lying to you right now. Like Matt Walsh is lying to you. He knows it. I showed you. I proved the fucking thing for you right there. Proof. Here's the video. Like, don't you like go through like, dude, like really? I mean,
it's pre-recorded.
It's you. This you? This you? Like, this is you, right? This is not like robot AI, Matt Walsh. This is you, right? You're the one who talked to Jim. He has a fucking name. You remember Pearl Davis's name, but you didn't remember Jim Sexton's name. How dare you, sir? Oh, my God.
FBI, open up!
How dare you? He's my good friend, Jim Sexton. Have at thee. Do we want to go any more with this? Let me go. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. A little.
The answer to that question is no. And here's why. If the divorce rate is 35%, or even if it's 50%, it does not follow that your own particular marriage has a 35 or 50% chance of failure. Now, I'm not saying that you should be cocky or reckless or that you should see yourself as invincible. I am saying that you shouldn't, on the other extreme, see yourself as passive debris floating helplessly on the tide of statistical likelihoods. Because you are an individual.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the statistical averages of divorce. I'm worried about what's happening in those marriages. What's the upside? Why? Because it's in your holy book? Is that why? I mean, that might be a reason. If you would just say that, I'd be okay, fine. But that doesn't even come out. You're trying. What gets me is like these guys who are these ideologues, basically, are trying to make, like I said, a metaphysical argument for a physical phenomenon, or vice versa. They're trying to prove a physical or a metaphysical argument with physical proof, right? Or possibilities, probabilities. As I was saying before, the house always wins. Now, in your individual marriage, you don't have to be a statistic. No, you don't. You might have like 43% is still better. Well, maybe, it's still better than a coin flip, right? 50-50. That's if I'm not remarrying for the first or second time, or the person I'm getting with, like the chick that I got with, she was married before and she's a single mom and she wants to get married again. Second marriages still fail at 60%. So if you're saying statistically speaking here, Matt, I shouldn't marry single moms who've been married before anyways, who had a previous, because there's a 60% chance. So that would be too much, right? But like 43%, you're still erring on the side of it might be okay. Now, the thing that gets me is the reason why I brought up the whole casino thing is like the house always wins, because no matter what you do, and God bless them, they pay the taxes here in Nevada, right? But you go in there, and I love playing craps, and so does Miguel, and I'm sure you probably like playing craps too. Charlie, we like to. I've worked at casinos for a very long time. And I will tell you this, the house always wins. Even play craps. It's the best odds in the house, right? Don't play slot machines. It's the worst odds in the house. Don't play, God forbid you play roulette. Roulette is like the worst fucking odds you could possibly play. There's no tactics. There's nothing in there. Like at least in at least in craps, if you understand probabilities and permutations of like the of the dice and stuff, like what's the possibility, what's the percentage chance and stuff like that. It's from me playing Warhammer for so fucking long. It's a math hammer, right? That's why I'm good at craps. But the fact of the matter is like, it's not just 50-50 and coming out dice, you know, like 7 or 11 or like, you know, 2s and 3s and whatever. It's not about that. It's all the bets in between when you crap out, when you 7 out, I should say. But the point I'm making here is that if you look at it more as a casino rather than the lottery, does everybody who goes into a casino lose? No, of course not. They couldn't fucking exist if there wasn't some winners. Was it loose slots, better odds, Caesars Las Vegas, right? Loose slots. Everybody's for byline. Loose slots. More jackpots. Caesars, Las Vegas. Actually, that was like Reno. But does everybody lose when they go into the casinos? No, there has to be some winners. But the house always wins. So even if you're a winner, odds are they're probably going to take that money back from you because you get like too big for your britches, right? Or you're just having a good time or whatever. Odds are, because the system, the ecosystem itself is rigged against you somewhere along the way. You might not lose it all at once. You might lose a little bit here, you might lose a bit there, and over, and it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Or maybe you just say, you know what, I'm not going to play craps anymore. I just won $100,000 on craps. I'm going to go take this money and we're going to go play high limit poker, and you lose it all because you suck at poker. So you had it, you lost it. That's really what we're talking about. It's not the lottery. $20. Here's your $20. Get the fuck out. That's fucking genius. But that's what it comes down to. It's a casino is what it is. Do some people win a shit ton of money and walk out of that casino with a new car and $1 million? Fuck yeah, they do. Not very many, but some do. What? Can you go into a casino and can you minimize your losses? Can you play in such a way? We're playing tag. Can you count cards? Yes. I mean, not here. I would never count cards. Can you play poker well? Yeah. Can you play craps reasonably well, like within a tolerance of error? Yes. Yeah, there's always going to be luck on the dice, obviously, but can you play strategically and tactically? Some games, yes. So can you take at least some sort of control over that? Yeah, you can. In some cases, you just win wild, and sometimes you don't win a lot. You get guys who are gamblers come back, and they know what they're fucking doing, right? But there are very few career gamblers. There are very few consistent winners. So by and large, there are more losers than there are winners. Are there some? Yes. Are there ways to increase your odds? Yes, there actually are. But the house always wins because the system is fundamentally rigged. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about divorce rates. We're talking about even in the good circumstances, even in the best of circumstances. It's not that every woman will. It's that any woman can. That's what it comes down to. And I don't see this as being that big a deal because guys want to get married. Even Jim Sexton, who sat across the table from you, said this, that he still believes in love. He wants to believe in marriage. These guys keep coming back. That's why men want to remarry more than, well, they can because they're men, but they want to remarry more than women do. They still believe they got another shot at it. And then 60% of them fail, right? They still want to believe that they've got that. Hell, I brought this up and I don't think this is selling anybody out because I'm the same way. I think Mike is the same way. Justin Waller is exactly the same way. Justin Waller has a marriage where he's got a baby mama who's effectively his wife, and then he has chicks on the side. So it's closed on her end and it's open on his end, right? And that works for them because he's so fucking high value he sets the terms of that ecosystem, of that system right there. But he still wants the security of mama at home with the babies, watching those kids, right? He still wants the security and still wants that lifestyle of being in a monogamous relationship with the option to go have side girls, right? That's where he's at, but there's still that desire to want to have some sort of stability in what passes for a marriage. Same thing with Mike. Mike would very much like to be married, has said on several occasions he wants to have kids and everything, but still kind of wants to keep his options open. So it's kind of like, I want a baby mama, I want a wife, but I want a wife who's going to go out and go to the clubs with me and pick up a chick and bring her home, right? Now, I don't know how feasible that is, but that's beside the point. Both those guys, including myself, I like having a wife. I love being married. I have a great marriage because I work at it. I know what to do. It's not even work anymore. I'm just me. She wants to be with me. I don't have to pick any fucking locks. I don't have to go, oh, well, her responsive desire is, I got to go and nibble on her ear for a little bit and then tell her she's hot and then, and then go draw her a nice warm bath and wash the dishes and, scrub the fucking toilets and everything. I scrub the fucking toilets. My wife would fucking slap me if I did that. Are you kidding? Hey, baby, I took care of all the chores today. It would be better. I changed the oil in the cars today. You see that pile of wood out there? Yeah, I was chopping that wood pile with no shirt on. Ooh. Oh, I didn't see that. No, but all the chicks in the neighborhood did. Oh, let's go.
SMV.
Right. Well, I mean, the people want to give me I love this. Maybe this is the time to say this. Okay. I love it when people go, isn't he married? Whenever they see me on the show on Access Vegas with the girls there. Yeah, I am. Fucking, and it's fucking great. Absolutely fucking awesome. Because when my wife knows who I am. We've been married for coming up on 30 years. Okay. She knows what I've done. She knows the industries I've worked in. She knows what I do for a living. She's happy that the book is out, right? She knows what I do. When I go out to Babes in Toyland and she's with me and people are shaking my hand out of the blue and don't know me and girls are just coming up to me and hugging me and grabbing me and everything else like that. It's like, I'm a guy that she's with. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that that her ego gets to be associated with. She's the kind of chick that can lock down a guy like me that other men want to be and other chicks want to fuck. Simple as that. And I do not feel bad whatsoever in saying that. Because that's a strength. That's a strength of marriage right there. Be the guy that other chicks want. Like her girlfriends go, man, girl, if you don't fuck him, I will. And you've got to be that guy. And what teaches you that? The red pill. Not fucking Christian life. That's for fucking sure. It's responsive desire. That's cope, man. That's the worst fucking thing I've ever said. And by the way, I brought up Coral Osborne about this. I've heard her say these same things too. Well, it's responsive desire is just a fucking other name for negotiating desire. If I do X, Y, and Z, you'll give me the pussy? Okay. You didn't have to. Do you think I had to do that when I was in my rockstar 20s? Do you think that I had to go, I better make sure that, I get my throw pillows from Bed Bath & Beyond and I make sure that the barometric pressure in the room is perfect and the temperature is this and, and the wine is chilled to this certain degree. And I had fucking nothing. I had as I said, my liquid assets were a pickup truck and an amp, right? And I got more tail than any other time in my life because of that. It's not about responsive desire. It's about fucking genuine desire. And by the way, I don't want responsive desire. If I have to negotiate, you're just fucking me because it's an obligation, not because you want to. Because, well, he did everything I asked. It's the id and the ego, right? The id goes, I don't want to fuck him. But the ego says, but he did everything you asked. Can't you just spread your legs for half an hour and then we can go back to watching whatever's on Netflix? That's the conversation. That's the conflict between the ego and the id. And it happens right at the time, like I said, the epiphany phase, but it goes into the marriage itself, especially when it comes to especially guys who don't fucking get it. Guys who no woman wants to fuck them. No guy wants to be them. And so ergo, the id doesn't want to have anything to do with this guy. I doesn't want to fuck this guy because the id is too busy thinking about the helicopter pilot and the guy the fucking lacrosse player she fucked in college, and pining for that guy rather than actually having got with somebody like you. I think what you're seeing right now is you want to know why women don't want to get with guys. Women don't want to marry. Why is the marriage rate so fucking low these days? The reason why it's so low is because, well, first of all, men ain't like women don't. The quality of men, if according to that women believe they're entitled to, rarely exists. So they're basically sharing the same guys, or they're dating outside of their age cohort, their demographic, right? But even then, they're still looking. Even the guys who are in their 30s, they're still looking for the elite men in their 30s. Right? So there is that. But the other part is that women wait longer and longer and longer for quote unquote Mr. Right, who is not as forthcoming. Well, in the meantime, they're in their party years or their hoe phase between 18 to 28 right there. And then 29 rolls around and now we want to get serious and now we got to get right with God and now we got to find a guy and you better obey and do all these I better convince myself that we're in an equal marriage because the only person she would submit to is the hot guy in the foam cannon party because she has natural, innate, genuine desire to fuck that guy, not responsive to negotiated desire for the husband. And so it's this constant, well, I got to fuck him because if I don't fuck him, then the kids he gets pissy and he gets, okay, well, how about this? Let's negotiate something with him. How about, I don't really want to fuck you. Why not? Well, because you don't do any chores. Oh, we got some chores out of the guy? Great. Awesome. Now I'll be in a better position to want to fuck him because I'll have more free time or I'll have some of the pressure taken off of me. What happens and this is common, the reason why chore play died is because of this. Because guys go, oh, all I got to do is diapers. All I got to do is laundry. All I got to do is the dishes. All I got to do is scrub the toilets. All I got to do is whatever. Then they do that. And the first thing they do is, hey, honey, I scrub the toilets. And her subconscious goes, that means he wants to fuck. And so he thinks that if he goes and does all these things, these acts or whatever, these are prerequisites, that therefore if he does those things, then he's going to want to fuck. Now it's obligation. Well, he did all of the things that I told him I needed him to do to want to fuck him. Now I have to fuck him. Starfish, fuck me, right? No, that's not desire. Guys, I keep saying this. I would much rather have sex twice a week and have my wife be just like, I gotta fuck you. I gotta tear your clothes off and fuck you. I can't stand this anymore, right? I would much rather have that innate, genuine desire from my wife than to fuck my wife 5 times a week and have it go, are you done yet? I got laundry and I got to fold laundry. All right. Are you finished? Responsive desire is, are you finished? And responsive desire, by the way, ladies, again, how do I know this is cope? Because it's transactional. You do this, I give you. You might as well be a whore. You might as well be a married prostitute. Well, if you do these things and you jump through these hoops, and I'm going to make tea and tell you all the things you need to do, mister. Here's how you're going to pick my locks. Once he picks the locks, then you go, oh shit, he picked the lock. Now I got to fuck him. You got enough gold stars on the chart now that it's cookie time for good boy. Sorry, I got that from Pat Campbell back in the day. So anyways, that's the problem, Matt Walsh. I'm going to stop you right there. You don't even have to watch any other, whether it's 12-minute video. You don't have to watch any more of this video. No more. All done. I'll tell you what, I'll give away the ending. It's not about divorce. It's not about that. It's about marriage. It's about the kind of marriage that you think guys should want to be in the first place because your holy book said that this is the way it ought to be. There's got to be more to it than that. I don't think God in heaven above would want to put 2 people together who are going to eventually destroy a family because there's no mutual or there's no genuine desire on the part of the woman. Men need sex, period. End of story. Don't argue with me. Need sex. It is a physical need. And if he's not getting it from his wife, he's going to get it from somewhere else. Then what? Like she's not putting out, and now he struggles with pornography. Really? Sedation. Ding, ding. All right. Okay, what do we have? Let me jump through these real quick and we'll get out of here. Only got through 3. Who is godmother of the manosphere? Esther Villar? No. The godmother of, who's the godmother of the manosphere? Tiffany Fox. Esther Villar. Esther Villar has been like around for a very long time. You know who? Oh, Helen, what's her face? That chick, not Helen Smith. That chick who's been talking about the feminization and gynocentrism recently. I can't remember her last name, but she's been pretty active recently. Chris Williamson is childless at 39. Is he cooked? No, he's not cooked, but there's a reason he's childless at 39. Would you like to know why? Here.
Oh, those guys are back!
That's why. Oh, I don't have the gay drop. Okay, I'll just give you that one again. Because he's batting for the other team. And that's my story. I'm going with that till somebody gives me something else. Okay, thank you. All right, there you go. Gentlemen, do you have another show to do? No? Okay, I didn't want to rush you or anything like that. Sadia Khan. Sadia Khan is the godmother of the man. No, absolutely not. And I just did it. But I don't know if this was recent, but I think I saw Jim Sexton with Sadia Khan. Run, motherfucker. Get away. That is like, the chick is radioactive right now, my friend. Get away. Sadia Khan, C-O-N. Any other questions? Come on, throw them at me now. Here we go. No, it's not Helen Keller. Really? All right, that's it. Go get the book. Put it back up there. Put that link back up there. There you go. Is that the right one? That's the right one. That's the Reignite link. That's for this book right here. Right there. Right there. There it is. Okay, got it. Go get it. Get it today. Get your copy today, because when I die in surgery, it'll be worth more money after I'm dead. Don't say that, Rollo. No, I love it. I love popping off with that shit, people, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to take it. Now, that surgery I have to do is like a 4-hour surgery. Oof. Yeah, that's pretty long. Yeah, people told me that's pretty long. Now I know that there's surgeries that are like 8 hours. There's some that are like all day surgeries, but like it's not. You're not fucking with my brain. Still, it's going to be a long one. I haven't been put under in a long time, so I'm glad I got this done before. But they say an artist's work is worth more after he's dead. I just fake my own death. Fake my own death, and then all my books just like shoot through the roof, and then wait till it levels off, and then go, surprise, motherfucker! It's the Rational Male Podcast. I should fake my own death. That would be awesome. Okay. What do we have coming up? Access Vegas is not until the 29th. We got that on the 29th. And what else? Go get the new book, man. It's good. I'm trying to think what else I got to do. The Reignite program. Please go join my program. You get a free book with the program. And then we have on the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st, we have our meetup here in Las Vegas. It's our Halloween meetup. We're going to, of course, have Joe always calls this shit masterminds, but I don't really like calling it a mastermind. It's just a meetup. It's like gathering of the tribe. Are we going to have people talking? You're going to learn something? Sure. But you're also going to have a good time. I'm more about having a good time than I am about learning stuff, because I think you learn better if you're having a good time doing it, right? We are going to go take the quads out in the desert, assuming it's the desert and not a big mud pit, which would be even funner, I think. It has been raining. So we got that. And what else do we have? And so then we have the Tao Nightclub costume contest. That's on the 30th. That's Thursday the 30th. And then Friday is Halloween, and Mike's got something going on Halloween. I think I might join him there. Mike is not. The reason why we're not doing Access Vegas this week, which is usually our scheduled week, is because Mike is in Cancun doing. He's just
hot Kevin phone card,
putting in the hours, man. Just like it's a tough job. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. He is judging the Miss, or is the MC, I should say, of the Miss Swimsuit USA pageant in Cancun, and I would have gone this year, except of my medical conditions, because if something went to shit, I would much rather be in the United States than Mexico, and I need emergency surgery. So I'm trying to be a responsible adult. Anyways, so check that out, guys. I will see you next Sunday. Kyle, thanks for being a part of the show again. Yeah. And guys, get the book. It's out. I tell your friends. Matt, I will send you a free one. If you respond to, I'll tell you right now, you respond to this video, I will send you a free copy of my book. You just tell me where you want it sent, and I'll have Amazon send it to you. I'll have it overnighted to you. You can even have the hard copy. I will send you a hard copy of it. There you go. Guys, I'll see you next week. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Be good. Peace.
Stop the cap.
But I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What'd you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let it go.
Guilty.
No, you're wrong. Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and slipping with her hair. Like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song, getting messy. Working up and down on your body.
Gotcha, bitch.
Drive me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song on your body. Baby, we'll get down to it all night.
Good day, sir.
We can fuck again. And maybe things we did for later. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? Maybe we can fuck again. And maybe things we did for later. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
The City Podcast has been a production of the Rational Mail. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2025. And don't steal my new book.
Tell these bitches to go to hell.
I prefer a good cigar and a bad woman.
I want to cast magic missile.
God wants you to have the baby.